Stretch those necks out, boys. We got a big show today. Welcome to Figures Not Included. We're back from our
baby.
Memorial break. Welcome back.
That was a good break. Did you guys have a good break?
Good breaks. Good break.
Yeah, nice and relaxing.
Nice. What'd you break, Michael? Your hymen?
Break
Oh,
the
no.
hymen. Break some cherries. Break a lot of different things.
Well, that's good. I'm glad everybody got well rested.
Very well rested. Welcome
Good to be
one
back.
and all. Yeah, how you doing, Ned? How's your mind and body and soul?
Oh, it's been a bit of a whirlwind. We have been busy, balls to the wall, as Larry loves to say.
He does like to say that. Then he shows them for some reason, which I'm like, you don't need to illustrate the.
I know,
That's not how it works.
No.
It's
My
just
bad.
It's okay. Just
verbal is enough, Larry.
close enough. Yeah, we don't need both.
We
All
don't need
senses.
the
We
visual
need
aid.
to trigger all senses. So
You could have told me that at church this morning. So
Uh-oh. Pastor did not like that one.
no.
But no, yeah, we've been gearing up. I don't know if you guys have heard. Hidden Temple Toys is doing their second, hopefully annual, toy show with the NC Underground Toy Swap group. We're going to be at the Selma Civic Center. Nice big indoor space for June, which is awesome. Indoor, nobody likes that weather, the heat, the rain. Let's get rid of that, And this year, we're going all out. All out. We're really trying to make it something special. We're going to have all sorts of fun stuff. We're going to have, like you can see here on our little flyer, we're going to have DJ. We're going to have LaRue's Beehive, which is a bunch of Transformers cars. We're going to have cosplayers.
I need your music. I need your music for this. It's like really, here you go.
Come on down to North Carolina Underground Toy Swap. Saturday, June 2nd. It's going to be a good old time.
Yeah, baby.
So yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Mikey, I know you blew me off because that's what you do.
That's what I do, Mr. Reliable.
David, a true friend, a true loyal, real friend.
Yeah,
not a poser like Michael.
Hey, you guys, you gotta leave me alone, all right?
I'll be there.
He'll be there, or he'll be squared.
We're gonna have a real good time. We're gonna have a lot of fun stuff. So yeah, that's been my big venture. It's been coming fast. It's like, you think you have a lot of time, and then these things hit, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, where did the time go?" But I think we're pulling it together. So yeah, good old.
Yeah, you've been setting up this one for a while. This is an important one.
It's awesome. So we'll also be another member of the NC Underground Toys who Swap has their own podcast, Action Figure Alliance, and we're actually going to guest star with them on Wednesday, right, Michael?
Yes, we will. We will be guest starring with them this Wednesday. And also, we will be on the Toy Migos podcast on Tuesdays. So,
Toy Migos.
We have a thick schedule this week.
We do. We're really busy. We don't pile it on, Michael.
Yeah, but it's what we got to do. We got to hit the iron while it's hot, and make some of that sweet, fiery content.
Yep. So. I agree.
Larry, how was your week?
Yeah, Larry. Can't forget about you.
Doing not too bad. Just working.
Doing the Lord's work, I hope.
Waiting to do this podcast. It's the one shining moment of my week. So,
that's sad.
Thanks for taking last week off. I was just sitting in my dark room by myself. But
I feel bad for you.
Hello, it's okay, my old friend.
I've come to talk with you again.
But now there's been a lot of toy news, a lot of stuff coming out. So
at least we had that. At least we had that to get us through, right? All the exciting, amazing toy news. We got hit with some. Probably one of the biggest Hasbro Marvel Legends drop in a very long time. I can't remember the last time I was this excited for some figures.
I don't really ever do sort of reaction videos. I post some photos or something or whatever. I went on Instagram right after, and I did a whole.
You had to react.
I had to exploit my thoughts.
The world needed to see your reaction.
Milk all of my brain happenings when it came to this. But let's just get to it. Let's just talk about it right here.
Jump in.
This is probably one of the hottest toy news segments that we had. So let's just go into hot toy news.
Should be X-rated.
This week on Hot Toy News, man, you were just alluding to it. Marvel Legends team had a stream a stream of all streams, for me, it was one of the most, if not the most fun that I think I've had watching a Legend stream. I think the Hasbro streams, I mean, G.I. Joe, they always have a great time. They always show great stuff. Marvel Legends can be hit or miss. Some days are better than others, and you'll find things that you like. Things put those peepers on, put those readers on, because we got a lot to go through. But they started off with the well, we can just go to how they basically started the whole thing with old Dwight and Dan, friends
Dwight
of the
and
show.
Dan
So they were all positively chummy
giving us the
with each
C.
other as they are. There's Dan just showing him off, like almost like posing him.
Behold, my
Behold,
Dwight.
somebody Dwight. Yeah. Much to behold. And they showed off Fantastic Four. First steps. What do you guys think about Fantastic Four?
They started off, they wanted to keep the good stuff back. So they gave us kind of a little something we've been expecting. I thought these look really good. I like the MCU stuff. I'm a little bit of an MCU toy collector because I like to get all the actual characters and kind of recreate them on my shelf. So I'm actually kind of looking forward to a movie version of Fantastic Four to go ahead and add. So yeah, I like the ways these look. They look pretty accurate. The head sculpts were done really, really nice. Here we got Invisible Woman, and she's looking fantastic.
Pretty visible.
You see what I did there?
And I said visible. You said fantastic. It's just
Oh,
an amazing rapport that we have.
how do we do it?
How do we do it? And Larry says nothing. And then so Invisible Woman. What I do like too is that each box they have their own little design element that's specific to the character.
Yeah.
As you'll see as we go through these photos. Interesting. So in some photos, her hair looks blonde, like in these promo shots that they show, which look cool. The suit looks a little pajama like, but I think that's just the nature of those costumes that they did for the movie.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, it's okay. It's fine. But look, see in this photo, you can see the actual figure outside of the box has blonde hair, and then inside the box is white. What?
Yeah, I mean, it could be a little lighting thing there. It could be a little bleached out.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm making too big of a deal. Larry, are you in on the Fantastic Four stuff? Are you where are you with this? Where are you right now?
No, I mean, they look good, and I don't collect the MCU stuff. That's all. I leave it all to Ed.
That's
To
me,
get all
baby.
the MCU stuff. I like the comic book stuff.
Yeah.
So they look decent. I mean,
This
from
is
the style of the movie, they're hitting that style that the movie looks like it's going to
Yep.
hit, which the movie looks like it's going to be really good, and I hope it's really good.
Yeah, it needs to be a hit. It's got to be a hit, man. Come on, give me a hit, baby.
For
It's
sure,
like,
if I was going to pick up a figure, it would not be the
yeah.
Johnny Storm like that. I would get the next one we're probably going to see. I want the flaming guy.
Yeah, this Johnny Storm looks like Neil Patrick Harris for some reason, but it's supposed to look like Joseph Quinn. Doesn't really nail it, but it still looks good as a Johnny Storm figure.
I just think honestly, the take on Johnny Storm really alters his look, so he doesn't look like himself. I think it might be the haircut, the blonde look, but I don't know. Let's see how it compares to when we actually see him in the movie. I think it looks pretty decent though.
Yeah, I think it does too. I mean, I think it's cool getting a Johnny Storm figure. It's just a regular guy, but there's something nice about having just a neutral look of Johnny Storm. So it's cool to have that. So.
I mean, for the most part, I'll probably just go ahead and get the Human Torch version,
which you see right here. Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, like you said, it's not bad to have the backup one for his flame off version.
Yeah, but the flame on version, is this heat you up in all the right places, guys?
Oh, it just really warms me up from the inside out. I like it. Yeah. I don't know why I just love adding new movie figures to the MCU collection. I've had a real fun time collecting them all, and it just it's like an easy one to kind of just, here comes a new movie. Okay, I'll get the characters, and throw them in there. And it looks really fun when you have them all together. It's kind of like recreating the end of Endgame on your shelf almost,
Yeah, so, exactly.
The more the merrier, I say.
I do translucent plastic figures are just super fun to have too.
Yeah, I like it too.
Yeah, I dig those. What about you, Laszlo? You said you would like the Human Torch one?
Yeah, I mean, it's cool how they did the flames on this one is unique. It's the first time seeing them done that way around the feet and the toes, even on the figure.
Yeah,
so it's a really good figure.
Good flame color right there too.
If I was gonna buy one, it'd probably be that one, and then maybe the Thing, because the Thing's just big and chunky and cool.
before we get to that guy, Silver Surferetta. I like the stand. It's cool. Sometimes the silver plastic could look a little too marbly, look a little too
Yeah.
like it doesn't have the right sheen to it, you know?
Kind of wish they would just go back and do the vac metal. I know it's toxic and it's problematic, but
Well, you're
man,
toxic and problematic, so that fits.
it would just look so much better. Give me my
Yeah.
toxins. I just want it to look good.
You just wanna inhale your toxins, give you all the toxic lead, just give it to you
I
straight up.
need if it looks good on the shelf, I don't mind shortening my lifespan.
Like, who cares? Just give me the goddamn toy, all right? Like,
Give me what I want.
let
Power.
stuff as it is. Just give me my vac metal. Let me die in peace.
No one wants to live forever anyway.
I don't want
Yeah.
to live forever, but if you can live amongst your vac metal toys, then that's a pretty good life.
Exactly. That's what I always say.
I used to, whenever I go to not public Blockbuster. Whenever I go to Blockbuster, Hollywood Video, any of those places, whenever I get the game or the movie, the first thing I would do, and I don't know why, I would smell the Blockbuster bag. I would,
You're a
in
weirdo.
the super creepy kid. So I'm like, thanks, Mister.
What a weird.
So,
He's like, hey Jill, look at this kid. He's gonna sniff the bag.
oh, hey, Jill, the back sniffer, he's back. I come with my big fro, just wobbling around, smelling bad like some creep. So,
Oh,
creep Kendall.
Blockbuster.
I know. I just love those days, man. Yeah, I was something about that awful toxic odor. Just
So
it just
good.
it just
That's
hit
what they
me.
say, we
Right.
love what's bad for us.
Yeah,
Just like Larry and his women.
sniffs him up and runs away.
That too.
Okay, here we go. You're talking about big chunky La Cosa, the thing, Fantastic
Cosa.
Four. I mean, look, I bet it looks awesome in the movie. There's something kind of silly about the comfy pants.
I mean, it's the
Yoga
Fantastic
pants on.
Four. I always think it's funny when people is like, "Oh, it looks kind of silly" or "It's kind of goofy." It's the Fantastic Four. I mean, that's the whole.
It's not.
Very
Yeah, it's
good.
inherently silly. Yeah,
That's
for
like
sure.
hand in hand. But
Oh,
honestly,
yeah.
you just gotta get like it's still cool, and I'm happy that the toy doesn't have the full the costume because in the trailer you get it with the full suit on, and everybody's like, "Why is he wearing the full suit? He's usually topless or whatever." So I like to see the Rock pecs out and
Oh, yeah.
get a little more skin on the thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well,
I like the way this looks. He looks really cool.
yeah, Larry, you were saying that you like the thing. I know you don't do MCU. Is there any interest in this one?
Yeah, we'll see how big and like what he scales next to the other ones. But he looks really decent, and like Ed said, the fact they didn't put the shirt on him makes a big difference.
Yeah,
You,
I
you,
know
Yeah,
you
you
like.
get a thing, you want to see as much of his thing as you can.
I know you like your guy shirtless, but the thing obviously needs to be just all rock hard.
Yeah.
Clearly, visibly. The brow looks a little like darker brown. Looks a little poop like, but
little,
um,
little dark mass on his head.
a little dark mass on his. I don't know if there's a growth or what's going on. A
Probably
lot of things happening when you go
prank.
through. Yeah.
It's a prank by Johnny.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, I think when you get it in hand, it'll probably look really nice too. So, it looks
Yeah.
cool. The wrist guard on his wrist, the little metal piece. I guess I imagine that's in the movie, and that he also can go back and forth to his human form.
I don't know. I don't know how they're doing it. I don't know if he can transform, but I'm sure that piece will play some part in the movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, there's a lot of times where you'll get a figure because they'll get design photos from a year before they start shooting the film or the
Yep.
project. It happened with Moon Knight where they got an early render of the costume, and so they start making the figure, and then it comes out. By the time it comes out, the show look is different. There's like some different bandage wraps around his face that don't match with the figure. It happens, right? So
Yeah, we've
and
seen
then
that a lot in the past. The release of, especially the movie figures, like Guardians. I remember the Hella. They released the original one was all concept art, and then later on they had to release one that's more movie accurate. Same thing with Gamora. I think the very first Gamora we got was not accurate to the actual finished look.
right.
Yeah, there's always been like that and stuff. So you can expect a little bit of that here. I mean, they got to start working on these so early in advance, and they're always tweaking the movies up to the last month before release. So you're going to notice little discrepancies.
Right. discrepancies from back in the day. Remember these old Marvel Legend toy
Oh
biz from the first movie? They weren't bad, man. They weren't bad. But that
yeah,
thing looks little abomination like, so
yeah, those were a little
rough.
wonky, that's for sure.
But look at the thing. You got double jointed knees, and looks like you
Hey,
might
I mean,
have
Toy Biz knew what they were doing, they knew how to articulate and make the figure fun, and so
the proportion for something. Look at Invisible Woman, just like the
yeah.
face on that thing
Yeah,
is
they
insane.
weren't the best at, keeping things, what do we call it? Anatomically correct, I guess? What would you
Nope. They're
proportionally
not
wise?
giving a shit about that.
Real thin, waists and long, weird, knees,
Mhm.
but, hey, they're toys, they worked.
Exactly. They work for what their intention was. But yeah, I was just thinking about those back in the day. Like I remember them not being too bad. I remember like the Human Torch figure being super fun, and Mr.
Mhm.
Fantastic having a ton of accessories where you can do the full out stretched arms and torso and legs, and they would go all out for those. So
Yeah, Toy Biz really knew how to, add the extra bits of element to really make the characters kinda emulate a lot of the stuff we see from the movies, so, yeah, this was a fun one.
yeah, for sure. Did you ever get any of these, Ed or Larry?
I
I
never
don't
bought
think.
the movie figures back then, no.
No, I didn't buy from that version of Fantastic Four. No.
This was the Mr. Fantastic I was talking about. So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
I
it
mean,
was.
look at the amount of pieces they bring in, that's crazy. You're not gonna see stuff like that anymore.
Nope. And we'll
And we
conclude
didn't with this one
with
coming up.
we did it. Yep, there you go,
Yeah,
Mr. Fantastico. Señor
there he
Fantastico.
is, you get, like, 1 arm.
You get one long you get 2 arms. You get 2 arms. You get 2 long
Okay,
arms.
well, at least you
So
get 2.
yeah, and not just one. That'd be super. Imagine like one long arm and one long leg. You just like all topsy
That's all
turvy
you
and
get.
stuff. It'd be so dumb. But no, I think you get 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get 2.
Fun,
Okay,
and
okay,
that's gonna be a
okay.
fun that's gonna
Don't
be
to
a
sound
fun
the
figure.
alarms yet.
Yeah, I like that Pedro
Um,
Pascal figure, that'll be a lot of
it's a
fun to
good
mess around with.
it's a good head sculpt, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I was gonna
The
say, it
sculpt
looks
is
like
good.
the actor. So,
Yeah,
for
I
the
think
most
they got
part, they did a good job.
yeah, the thing about their faces sometimes is like, and a lot of people complain about this, is that they're too neutral. There's no expression.
Yeah.
There's no sort of action pose. If you're gonna do a neutral face, include another one that has some sort of
That's what I
something like
always
that.
suggest, and I always say the same thing. Give us the neutral face if we just want him to stand there, but always give us some sort of dynamic, a smile, a grin, a scream, a grimace, something just to make, posability a little more fun. We can like give it more action poses because you can put him in these awesome dynamic poses, but then he has like this dead expression on his face. So it kind of loses the style.
Hey, hi, I'm Mr.
Hi, I'm so
Fantastic.
stretchy. Yeah. It's like not
Hi,
having a good time.
hi. Yeah, I'm stretching. Okay, hi. Don't mind me, guys. Yeah, a little dead in the face, but
Yeah, so hopefully the movie does good and it's gonna blow people away and these figures will do well, but the ones that I think have already done that, blown people's minds,
blown their holes, their souls.
Marvel's returned here to the gamerverse and they picked one of the best games of all time.
It is,
That's right.
guys.
Marvel, they took the Marvel from Marvel vs. Capcom and gave us some pretty exciting figures.
Um, I mean, you see this, and then it just pops in your head.
I wanna take you for a ride.
You can hear it. I mean, you literally
You
look
can
at these
hear
toys
it.
and you can
You
hear that.
see it. I mean, they have everything they have the training stage, they have the life bars, they have everything about it. It's just where it's from. They can't say it, for
Yep.
licensing reasons or whatever, but you see it in the figures. This is the first 2-pack of Wolverine and Silver Samurai. This is a brand new sculpted Wolverine. Some amazing photos from Shooting the Galaxy. This really sells like the moves that they would do in the game, which is super
Mhm.
fun to see. A lot of these, and we'll go through all of them. We've had versions of them before. We had a comic book version or an animated version, but now this is the first time we're getting the game version. What was your instant reaction to the new Wolverine?
Well, I gotta say, I was, this is something people have been talking about forever. everyone said, why can't we get this roster, maybe a little more stylized? And they finally delivered it. Unfortunately, they didn't do the Capcom side of it, but at least we got the Marvel, which is, one
Yeah,
step in the right direction. And,
right.
Wolverine, I mean, holy moly, this is like, iconic
Holy
character.
guacamole, baby.
Yeah, and they really went out to capture his look from the game. They added extra articulation to get a little more of that crouch pose. The
Yeah.
big ears on his mask just really flared out, giving it that kind of Japanese artistic styling to it. I mean, I have a lot of Wolverines, but this one's definitely one I am not passing on because he just looks so cool. And I've been such a huge fan of this game. Anything that brings me a little bit closer to experiencing that on the toy shelf, I'm all in. And the accessories and just the way they really went out of their way to make this stuff emulate the gameplay and the moves was just so exciting to see in toy form. So yeah, I love this one. Like I said, Wolverine's always been one of my favorites. So to see him as one of the headliners here, super excited.
Yeah, I love that with the added effect of the claws, the Berserker Barrage, you can have them either just standard, they can go horizontal or vertical, or you can actually cross them to do his Weapon X move, which is
Yeah,
fantastic. So,
it's just
um,
smart design. I love
it's
that.
it's smart design, and this is the thing that we just want from the Hasbro team, from Marvel Legends, to give it these smart designs to really go all in on something. I was just surprised by the volume of this, what they're calling a program. It's not a wave, it's a program. And so this program of Gamerverse, they really they put a lot into it, you can tell. And we can go into the stuff that bothers us. There's always going to be something. But first, let's get to the good stuff, because the good stuff, there's a lot of good stuff. Larry, what is your connection with the MVC franchise and how it connects to the figures? What does it do? Does it tickle your fancy? Tickle
Oh,
your fancy?
I love these figures, and like you said, there's some negative things, but I'm pretty much buying the whole line. But I love that. I think that they're taking a page from like Jada with the accessories. Jada did the Street Fighter figures, and they had you could do the Hadouken. They had the stand for the accessories, and you see
Mm-hmm.
those slashing effects that you can do, like you were talking about. The
Yep.
Berserker Barrage is awesome, and I mean, the one issue I do see is one figure gets some cool accessories, the other ones are kind of like, we'll give them a little something. Like Silver Samurai
Yeah.
gets that little thing and not that much, but
Yeah.
that Wolverine is awesome. The single jointed elbows, okay, but I love that version. I love the big freaking the wings on his head and how he can crouch low, and he looks really good. And I really think because of Jada and Storm Arena coming out that the Marvel or Hasbro had to up their game, and they're delivering from what these look like.
Yeah, yeah, I'm with you there.
It was
It can do a lot. It can do the crouching pose. It can do those things that are so vital to recreating the image. I mean, and you can compare it even then to the love triangle Wolverine, which it
Hmm.
feel they do a Wolverine every 6 months, and there's always some new addition to the sculpt or an accessory that kind of takes it to another level. And you can see that this one, it has now that diaphragm cut where you can actually rotate it at the top part of the torso, and it has a ball joint, so you get that really nice crouch pose that he's so iconic for, not even just in the game but just in the comic books and everything, but particularly to the game. And the big rounded claws, the giant ears on the mask, the single jointed elbows is interesting. I don't know how you guys feel about that, Ed. Did it bother you?
I mean, it's an interesting choice, but I think at the end of the day, when they were making these figures, they were like, can it still do the poses from the game? Is it still, getting into the movement and posability that we needed to? And I think if it was able to do it successfully in a way, yeah, that's fine. Would I like to see double jointed elbows for just more posability and just more options? Yeah, for sure. But it's
Mhm.
not like, honestly, the good outweighs the bad here. So I'm still super excited about this figure. So
I think I just thought maybe they're holding some stuff back so they can do the Ultimate Wolverine coming up.
Oh,
There might
Maximum.
be a few things they did the ab crunch and all that extra stuff now, but they don't want to get this one all decked out because then they'll lose on the Ultimate version. Maybe.
Well, that I mean, it's possible. So I just want to do a quick comparison because there's different, when it comes to the Capcom style, you can do the artwork, or you can do the sprites, right? And so it's sort of this line kind of goes between two places where you'll see a lot of it sort of mimic the artwork, and some of it maybe mimics more of the pixel art. I think this Wolverine kind of, I want to get a good shot of him before we continue with Silver Samurai. Um, just to kind of see like how he really compares to maybe some of the artwork. So I'm just going to pull this image up really quick. And, I think it kind of fits pretty well to this artwork. It has like the big winged ears, it has the rounded claws, it has the massive arms, it's got the stout body, and it's got even on the boots as well. It sort of mixes really well with the artwork and I think the pixel art.
Yeah, I think the design team kind of straddled between pixel and artwork and just tried to capture that, stylistic feel that would translate well, because the pixels are very dynamic, as much as the artwork is. So you got to kind of figure out how are they going to incorporate that into like a three-dimensional figure. And I think they did a good job. They didn't really, make it too far one way or the other. It'll fit. It can even just fit in with the regular toy line. So I kind of like the fact that it's kind of ambiguous and not so, pinpoint one type of art style,
Yeah.
but enough where you can definitely tell it's from the game, but still, it has the ability to kind of blend in with some other things. So yeah, I'm excited. I think they did a great job.
Yeah, I think it works really well. And then if you want to just take a look at the old pixel art, that's just him super squatting right there, which is, I mean, that's kind of like one of the poses you can go with for Wolverine or,
Yeah,
um,
they tried to get him squatty. Not that squatty, but at least he can get a little lower than the regular figures could. Or the
yeah,
PV
I think
figures, I
this
should
is
say.
sort of the look, this is a
Yeah,
squat where
that's
he,
kind of like where they were at.
yeah, this is the neutral pose for Wolverine. So this is the one
I just
that,
love the fluidity of the
The
pixel
jiggle.
art. Everything just moved like
oh, he's
the
got the
little
jiggle
body.
jiggle, maybe. Yeah.
It's
Like
just
it worked
amazing
so
style.
well. And so if you just do the quick swap of him in the squat, I think it captures the energy of it, it captures like what the feeling is. And I think it works. Would you have liked a little bit more, and we'll get to the rest of them right now. I think we'll fly through them. But would you have wanted something that matches the pixel art a little bit more? If it's like brighter colors, if it's a little bit more exaggerated, do you feel like they could have added like an extra 20% to make it even more over the top, like Capcom style? Or do you think this is a good point?
If you ask me directly, like honestly, I would love it if they could make it an exact replica of the artwork of here
Mhm.
and just really go all out with like the exaggerated muscles and thighs and everything, just to make it look exactly like the artwork here. But I know that's just a difficult task to completely re-engineer something like this.
Yeah,
And so I'm happy with what we got, but like if I say, if it's a perfect world and I can ask for whatever I want, yeah, I would have liked to seen them go maybe a little more stylized.
sure, sure, Larry.
Yeah, same thing. But I'm not gonna. Sometimes people and we like to hate on Hasbro a lot, but I can't complain.
I'm
It
not
looks
gonna.
really good.
Yeah, yeah, I'm with you there. I mean, look, yeah, in a perfect world, like we're never gonna get a perfect figure. There might be some that kind of hit that 10 out of 10. It's very rare, but I think Marvel Legend did a really good job overall with these things,
Yeah,
and
yeah. This if
it,
it's not a 10, this line is a 9. This
yeah,
line is just really well done. It's
and we
way
haven't even seen the best stuff yet. This is just
yeah,
the
yeah.
first
We
two.
just setting it up.
We're setting it up for the big blue. But and anyone that says, I mean, I've seen some different complaints about it, and that like people ask like, oh, like why is this way? I'm like, listen, listen, you ding dongs. This is based on very specific video game art and pixels. Like it has a very specific audience, and I don't even think it has a very specific audience. I think it has a wide range. I think it can reach comic people. That yes, we're getting another version of Wolverine. We're getting another version of this character and that character. But man, these are just like such iconic looks from the video games, and they don't
Yeah.
just hit us as Marvel Legends collectors. There's a whole gaming audience, people that have loved these games for 20 years that like Maximilian Dude, Justin Wong, guys like that are so entrenched in the gaming community, being like, man, these figures look awesome. It's like
Yeah.
it's just like it reaches such a wide audience.
I think there's a lot of people, especially like us. We jump into all these different worlds. We love the video games, we love the toys, we love the comics, we love the movies, and we gotta admit there's people out there who maybe aren't really into the video games, never really played these games. They love the
Sure.
comic book versions or the movie versions, but don't generally care about the video game stuff, and that's fine,
Yeah, they're
because I think
losers.
a lot of
It's fine.
people look at this line and we're like, hey, we've got like 90% of these figures already. I'm not gonna buy them again. But then you got people like us who are like, but these are so cool because they really scream, Marvel versus Capcom.
Yeah.
And it's just something we love so much. And it's something that we can really tell the difference, and we can really see those little nuance changes that make these figures more in line with the game. And that gets us really excited. So yeah, maybe these versions of these characters that we have had before isn't for every collector out there. But
Right.
like you said, I think there's a huge majority of people that love multiple genres and versions of these things, like games, movies, comics, and everything, that would be excited about getting another version of the same character, specifically because it's tailored to the game that we are so enamored with. So I'm excited, and like I said, I have most of these figures, but the way they did these versions, I am all in. I'll get them all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think someone that doesn't collect figures but loves the games, these figures are close enough and awesome enough that these might be some people's first figure legends they buy. So
Yeah.
it's pretty cool if you bring
Yeah.
someone to the action figure collecting game with these figures. This is a good line to start with. So they're good for that too.
And I think Marvel Legends is very aware that they're always trying to bring in a new audience. Obviously a lot of these figures are dedicated to collectors, but there's a lot of collectors that weren't collecting back in 2020. This is also sort of a new game. And I know the price fluctuations and everything, it's a little tricky of how to even get into this, but it seems like, and the Fantastic Four figures I think are $25. So it feels like, okay, maybe things are evening out and things are going to get back to sort of a normal place, that these won't be insanely expensive, that people can actually put their money in. So Silver Samurai here, we had a previous version, a retro version, which was great, but this one kind of going into the Capcom style. It has the Shiryuken, the orange one with the lightning blade. His pads are way more exaggerated, like massively exaggerated. A brand new head on Silver Samurai as well. A new torso. He does have pins on his elbows and knees. I don't know where you guys are in the whole pin gate sort of arguments that happen out there, but
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate that we keep going back to older technology for these figures, and we've seen these great improvements of the pinless technology now. And it'd be great to see, them completely shift over to pinless, because, it's nice to see the figures without those glaring, pegs in their legs, especially when you're looking at double jointed stuff.
yeah,
But, the name of the game is reuse those molds, maximize the amount of money they get out of them. So they're not going to go away anytime soon, and you're just gonna accept it. If you hate it, you don't have to buy it, but Hasbro's gonna milk them for whatever they can. And I'm not a big pin problem guy. Like, yeah, if you ask me what do I prefer, yeah, pinless is nicer, but it doesn't break it for me if they have pins. We've had pins for such a long time,
okay.
and I don't even notice them most of the time anyway. So it is what it is, I say.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, it sucks, but at the end of the game, Hasbro is a corporation run by stockholders and all that crap. And if they throw pins on a Silver Samurai figure, which is the lesser of these two figures, but we get those slashing effects and we get the ab crunch and some other stuff. It's a give and take that we're gonna have to do, and that's always gonna be part of Hasbro because they're a corporation,
yeah,
so they're gonna try to save money where they can. But if they're giving us other things that balance it out, then it makes it a lot better. And that's the problem. Before they would try to sell us brand new stuff and then tell us we had to take the pins or take stuff like that, and we wouldn't get anything of fair trade. But a pack like this, yeah, you have pins and samurai, but the Wolverine's awesome, so it kind of balances
right.
it out, and it makes it a little easier to swallow.
Yeah, and then I guess that it's two sides of that coin, where maybe it does make it easier to swallow, but then also the other part where, man, I have to get that figure to get the Wolverine.
Yeah.
Like now you're in that 2-pack world where it's like, and same thing with sort of like the Punisher, right? Having to get a Bushwhacker, right? Was that his
Yeah.
name? Yeah, and being like, I don't want to get that weird veiny penis bad guy. Like he's so ugly and gross, but he's also kind of cool. But really, the gem of that 2-pack is the Punisher. So I understand, having to to sort of it's all part of like their system. Like, okay, if we're gonna do this, we have to package this because we're gonna be able to sell it for higher price point, and it's not gonna get all the brand new retooling. But it's interesting. It does have quite a bit of new retooling,
Yeah.
but it does use the reuse, which is like, okay, if we can, I try to think of it like, okay, if we have a certain budget allocated towards this program, where's the money going to? And we're going to see where the money really goes towards.
Mm.
And I guess I try to see it that way. I'm like, okay, I understand, but yeah, I'm with you guys where it's like, man, I want them to go all out. I want them to not feel outdated within a year or two. I want them to look and flow with the rest of the pinless figures. But with this one, I think I can sort of like, okay, I can move on. And just to show them off compared to the video game art, it's very similar. The toy is a little bit more of a darker gray. I would have liked if the figure was more matching with the
Mm.
pixel art to be a little bit more shinier, sort of like that poisonous vac metal that Ed loves so much. That would have been really cool for Silver Samurai. I would have loved an alternate head where you see his winning pose, where he takes off his helmet. I think that would have been really awesome. Um, I'm just, again, we're going perfect world sort of thing, but I think
Yeah,
for what
there's
it
always
offers,
there's always more they can give us, more they can do, little things we would tweak here and there. But like I said, we gotta go off with what they gave us and just, if it's good enough that we like the way it comes, we get it,
yeah,
And at the end of the day, yeah, I would have loved all that extra stuff, like you said, perfect world. But for what we were getting, I'm still happy. I really like
yes,
the style and the look of these figures, and like we're gonna see here, the rest of the wave or program, as you say, is just phenomenal. I mean, look at this. This is one of the ones I think people are very excited about. I'm very excited about. I used to love playing with Psylocke. I used to love this version of Thanos, and so I mean, and like how we were saying, a lot of newer collectors have gotten in here. Maybe they haven't picked up a Psylocke. Psylocke's gotten really hard to get, especially the Jim Lee version of Psylocke. You don't
yeah,
find her very easily, and if you do, she's got a hefty price tag on her. So it's cool to get another shot at getting that version of the toy. And this is a cool way for Hasbro to be like, okay, well, we can reintroduce these figures, make them a little bit better, and those who want to upgrade their figures can, if they just want to get the extra figures, or people who don't have them will be able to get them again. And I mean, I just love the way these look. So like I said, I mean, the new head sculpt, the Jim Lee colors, the effects from the game, super fantastic. Love that.
hmm
Definitely getting here. And this Thanos is just really cool. I don't know why I've always liked the Marvel Capcom Thanos with the little antennas, but
yeah, me too. It
He's
just
just
works.
he's just a fun yeah, he's just a fun version, and so I'd love to get this. I have a couple of versions of Thanos, and this is just definitely one I'd love to have, and I love the way they did it, I love the colors they chose, the sculpting looks really good. I mean, look at that, right out of the game.
Yeah, they nailed the coloring on this one. They nailed the shoulder pads. They redesigned the boots. I think it's a sort of the same deluxe figure that they released a few years ago.
Yeah.
Um, I think it's single jointed elbow, but it does have the pinless knees. Some subtle tweaks to really match the video game there for Thanos. So yeah, if you don't have the deluxe one, this is a great one to have. I'm sort of all in on everything, to be honest with you. I can't say no to anything just because it hits that sweet spot for me, particularly with the game, and I think they did such a good job matching it.
Look at
But yeah,
Look at the stance right there. That was like her classic, battle stance in the game,
over
and like
Psylocke,
the
yeah,
fact that she can hit that pose perfectly. There was a little engineering there to make sure she was able to do that, and that's what I love about this line is that they made at least some minor adjustments to a lot of these figures, so we could get closer and closer to those game poses, and it really shows here in Psylocke's stance there and some of the other ones that we're talking about, Wolverine with the deeper crouch and everything. So, I mean, yeah, these are fantastic.
No, and also I think with this Thanos, they even the skirt on the deluxe didn't have a cut. Oh yeah, there's the jiggle we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, more jiggle. A lot of jiggling with these Capcom characters. So just starting to notice that now.
Then you got to program those pixels.
Yeah. There's some real good pixel programmers back in the day. Very, very detailed. Very exaggerated.
I think
But
this 2-pack, you can see one. It looks like each one figure out of each 2-pack they reuse stuff. This Thanos, I think they did it pretty
yep.
perfect. Save money by reusing stuff, but new head mold, new boot mold. Even I think some of the gloves are new mold, and
Yeah,
they did a
the
cut in the
the
skirt so
skirt piece
he
as
can have
well.
more dynamic kicking action and stuff.
Yep.
And then new colors and everything. It's really good. The only thing that freaking sucks is the Target exclusive.
Yeah, I think that is the biggest part of this
That's
whole
worse than the pins. All the other stuff is the
Yep.
exclusive crap.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
so
we
annoying.
we're gonna get to that. But yeah, some of these will be mass released, different avenues. But two of these sets and two of the most popular ones, Psylocke and Thanos, will be Target exclusive. Which a lot of people don't like that. It's hard for a lot of people to find these and get them.
There
Hopefully
it
that
is.
won't be the case, but it's always
ruining my
sad
life
to
with
see
these
that because it just
exclusives.
lowers your chances of finding these
Yeah.
in the wild or online. But they keep doing it. I mean, you understand the companies are paying them extra money for these kind of things. So
Yeah.
what are we gonna do? But yeah, it's definitely unfortunate.
Cry and try to get
And
them.
then I think what's the next one? The
This is the Walmart exclusive War
Walmart.
Machine and Omega Red. This is the most heavily reused of I think of all the sets.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is a cool set because I think a lot of people have been looking for Omega Red. They've done a release prior to this. They did two releases: the original release, then a 2-pack release. Who was in the 2-pack? Does anybody remember? Oh, was it a 3-pack? No, it was a 3-pack, a Wolverine 3-pack, right?
For
Was it a 3-pack or more? Yeah, I remember it was like
It was a 5
Cyber.
pack, wasn't it? It
Omega
was a
Red
5
was a
pack.
5-pack. Yeah, Omega Red was a 5
Yeah,
pack.
that's what I mean. Yeah, I
Cyber,
think it was
yeah.
it was more than 3. Yeah, it was a 5-pack, and it got
Yeah, the
Cyber,
more than 3
another
pack.
Omega
Yeah.
Red, Wolverine, and I forgot what the other ones were. Anyway, we've gotten
Two
several
dozen.
releases, but he still seems to be a sought after figure, and people still want him.
Yeah.
So another great way to reintroduce him for those people who haven't been able to get him at a decent price, we're getting him again, and a cool way to reuse the modular armor we got from the Iron Man. Remember, we got the proton cannon Iron Man a few
Yeah.
years ago, and
Yeah,
now
the
we're
modular Iron Man.
now we'll be able to get the modular War Machine armor, and it looks really cool. And like I said, for those people who love this game and love the different characters and styles from them, this is an awesome way to re-get those characters. And for those who just want to add more of them to the roster, here we go. Very cool versions of these figures.
Yeah, it matches. It works. So I
Yep.
mean, it has like the silver, like the shoulders and the knee pads and the white boots. So it works well. Like again, regard to like the pinless, like that's the biggest thing. Like if they had just gone pinless and everything, I don't think a lot of people would have complained. But
Yeah, I
I
think
understand it. I understand it.
you definitely see people wanting to upgrade when they get those pinless ones. They're like pinless now, complete pinless with the good, sculpting. Everybody sees that as like the new status quo, the best version that they put out. So obviously, if we're gonna get, a repeat of these figures, like we've had 3 versions, this will be the third Omega Red. It'd be awesome to have gotten a pinless one. So it would kind of incentivize more people to want to upgrade the ones that they previously got.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, sometimes we're just going to get what they have available, and
Yeah.
it is what it is.
War Machine here. So this one's very specific because this is the one that's most like the character art versus the pixel art. So this is what it looks like in the character art. In the game, he's just a palette swap with Iron Man, the same exact look as Iron Man, and he has some extra moves and a different voice actor or different voice or whatever. But in the character art, it actually looks the Bengus art, which is I love that art so much. It looks more like that. So it really matches that sort of style. The only thing, I think this is actually my biggest criticism, are the thighs. Yeah.
Yep.
So they're blue on the figure, but in the art, they should be the modular legs. This is very like, well, actually, kind of thing. But it just kind of hits me. So I don't know if they have the same waist where you could have just gotten the modular legs and just basically stuck them on to this war machine, which would have been perfect. It would have been the perfect war machine. So that's
Yeah,
my hope that you can customize it like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely would have been an incentive to do that, but for some reason
The
they
other
just
thing,
go this
it's
way.
not accurate to the game, and we just got the retro War Machine before, which was pretty good.
Yeah.
So it's if you're buying this because you want a game accurate, it's not game accurate, and then it's the Walmart exclusive.
But
And
yeah, because even the pixel art, the thighs, like I remember the Iron Man had red thighs too, right? They weren't yellow.
yeah, yeah,
So why would they not continue with that with this War Machine and do them gray? It's just strange.
Yeah, I think it's just like, again, this is just like them being like, okay, well, can we just do a simple retool on this and that'll suffice? And yeah, like obviously, like if you look at the pixel art here,
Yeah,
it's the the black shoulders, and then you have the blue. I like the
yeah,
color of the like, it's a little bit more of a darker blue in the figure as opposed to like this sort of powder baby blue that they have mixed in with the white coloring. But I still think it works. But just the legs are a big thing for me,
yeah.
and
It's a
this is
shame
the thing.
because it was, even if they don't want to resculpt anything, it's just a matter of using the correct color plastic, you know?
Yeah.
So why wouldn't they just mold those in the correct gray? Just it's strange. I don't know.
Yeah, or just like if it was possible to swap them with the modular legs, because if you could just
yeah.
use those legs, it'd be perfect. It'd be absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
So that's my gripe. That's my one big gripe out of
No,
Yeah.
and I think the knee pauldrons or whatever aren't correct either.
yeah, they're not correct either, because the modular ones are the perfect ones. They
Yeah,
match perfectly
Yeah,
with
it
them.
was strange that they went this way on this one, especially with them truly trying to emulate the game. It's a bizarre oversight. So yeah, it would be interesting to ask why this occurred.
Why'd you do this, Hasbro? Why'd
Exactly.
you do this to me?
I mean,
The worst thing ever.
if there's a pack I'm gonna pass on, I think this is the 2 pack I'm gonna pass on.
Well, good for you, because it's a Walmart one. So
Yeah,
you might be
Again,
forced to
they'll
pass.
they'll make it. They'll try to make it. They'll try to make you pass on it for sure.
Yeah.
Dirty
Yeah,
Walmart.
exactly.
But
But I will say, I think, like you said, Larry, this is one that I think most people will pass on. This is, I know a lot of people were, were trying to get the Omega Red, like you were saying, Ed, but you've been able to get. I love this picture, by the way,
I
because
don't
this is
know.
very
You
much
know,
like
you
a
say
video
that,
game.
but I don't know. I think a lot of people really like these characters. So I don't know. Maybe for
Yeah.
us, you guys are like, yeah, I would pass, but I don't know. I think this one won't be that uh that much slept on. I think people will be excited. Yeah,
Yeah.
but that next one, I think
the
people, a lot
next one,
of people
no
will
one's
be
gonna sleep on the next one.
Oh, ho, 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 ho. I mean, come on.
Go crazy!
Whoa. Oh, we're going crazy. We're going crazy. Oh, yeah. So this is the big blue boys. Captain America and
Battle of the
Blue
Blue.
Venom. The Battle of the Blue. Finally, a lot of people have been waiting for a blue Venom. So this is the one they used as the Venom they released. The Walmart, another Walmart exclusive Venom. Um, and they have this retooled Captain America with butterfly joints.
Yeah,
It
this could
this
be
might
one
be
of the
the
best
best Captain
Captain
America
America.
they've done.
Yep, I was about to say the same thing. Probably one
Yep.
of the best ones they've done. Great color scheme. They did a great job. Upgrading the joints and everything. So yeah, I think people, especially Cap fans, are gonna love this version. And Marvel vs. Capcom, Cap was one of my favorite ones. I loved his move set. I love the charging star, stars and stripes, final justice. I mean, this guy was awesome to play with. So definitely on my must have.
Yeah, they even got so sometimes with the Captain America, the torso, they have the white and red stripes sort of mismatch, but they have the red stripe going perfectly down vertically on his torso. So the figure matches that, which is just like an aesthetically nice thing to see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks awesome, and then you have him fighting the Blue Venom. I love the added effect of the shield. You have a fully intact shield. Thank
Yep.
you for doing that. I don't know why it took so long, but we finally got there. But you have the cool, shield.
Charging Star.
Charging Star, of course. So Final Justice over there pose, and then here's doing his Charging Star and Blue Venom. Blue Venom looks really cool. I don't think we've seen this head sculpt before. This might be a new head sculpt.
Possible. I know they had a long tongue one for the Walmart re-release exclusive one they did, but I'm not 100% if this is the same head that one came with or an all new one. We'll see.
I feel like either that's a new head or just a newly like retooled head with the tongue and the green goo coming from of it and the extra
Yeah,
long tongue.
maybe it's the tongue that's the newest part that
Yeah,
they
the eyes too. I feel like the eyes are also very much like the video game,
on the
and the
eyes.
arms look too. Like the arms don't have those extra little appendages that the other figure used to bring. The extra
Yeah,
gooey
I think
thick
you're right.
parts. But it had the old pin legs, which is a little lame, but
Yeah,
yeah.
my only downside on this Venom, I love it. I definitely want it. I wish they would have given him an accessory. I mean, they didn't really give him any move accessories, which is kind
No,
of
they
sad
didn't.
because he had some really cool moves. I love that big stomping one where like his symbiote would like whip out of his foot and create like a kind of whipping tornado thing.
Yeah,
That would have been a really cool stand to put him on,
yeah.
And we didn't get anything for him, which is kind of crazy, but what are you going to do? That's I think the big misstep on this pack, even though I think everybody's going to get him regardless.
Yeah, so this is how he looks in Marvel vs. Capcom. This is sort of the art that they use, which it really mimics the art. The one thing with Hasbro we can always get on is that there's never a lot of shading when it comes to the characters. There's sort of this flat blue look. It would have been nice if they had some darker, blue tones or some black tones that kind of go in to sort of bring out the sculpt a little bit. I think it's just sort of like an aesthetic thing, which it doesn't deter me from the figure at all. I'm gonna get it. Like I said, I'm gonna get everything, but it just like, man, it just would have been nice to add like an extra color in there just to punch it up.
It's nice, but Hasbro just doesn't do a lot of shading. Once in a while
Yeah.
we'll get it in a few things here and there, but yeah, it would be nice if they would do a little bit, especially on these more, monochromatic characters, and just kind of add that to give it a little more oomph, a little more detail.
Yeah.
But I still love it. Like you said, we're still getting him. He's still great. So for what we're getting, I think we're all pretty happy with it. But of course, there's always little things we're gonna want to add on or change.
Yeah. This is sort of the pixel art. So it's again, this is sort of what I'm saying, just like having a little bit of an extra tone in there just to kind of make it pop a little bit. But I'm still with it. I'm still loving it. And it matches the eye look great, the tongue looks great. I would have loved I think that was a big thing, which I like about Silver Samurai, is that they have very game specific moves. It has the Shoryuken, it has the lightning sword, it has the lightning effect. Wolverine has the claw slashes. Venom would have been great to have the shield or like the leg move.
Yeah, the big shield would have been easy to do and very cool.
Yeah, that would have been such a no brainer
Yeah,
for
especially doing the shield with Captain America. Shield versus shield, it would have been pretty awesome.
Yeah, that would have been.
Or at least the double head where they have the Eddie Brock head and then Venom's head right next to it would have been cool too.
Yeah,
I'm saying it now. Hasbro San Diego Comic-Con exclusive accessory pack, extra heads, extra like move pieces like the shield and the slashes and all the stuff that we want for all the characters. They should do like an accessory pack, Marvel versus Capcom or Gamer verse pack for this line.
That's what I think they should do, man. Like, imagine getting this extra awesome Dio piece like that to go with your Venom, which is like the little symbiote's mouths shooting out from the floor.
Yeah,
it's just stuff like that. Which, like, man, you wish, like, even like War Machine having the War Destroyer. It's just a big, awesome.
I mean, it's not very difficult things that they have to do. It's just a lot of the stuff is just flat plastic. They just have to mold inject it or whatever, sculpt it, get the things done. I think it would sell. I think they could. This is definitely like a good way for like add-ons. So we've seen other companies do add-ons. Other companies do, some of the more import figures, like Mafex and not Mafex or who is it, Reveltech and Figure Arts. They do accessory packs for a lot of things. So let's get some of these accessory packs for these American companies, right?
Come on, man. At least Captain America brings two heads. He brings his face. So
there you go.
That works. Which is a good one for him to have. And he has fully intact shield, like we just said. He has the effect.
Oh,
Now we get onto the big boys.
All right,
So,
this is when I
I
was.
wanna take you for a
Oh
ride.
yeah,
um,
I remember I used to get manhandled by this guy.
mhm.
It was okay with me because he was so cool. He had some awesome moves, and this is a crazy character that you're like, how would they do this as a figure? And Hasbro figured it out, man. It's an awesome figure. I am super excited for this.
So in this version, he's called Gargantos because of a rights issue with the name Shumagoroth, which I believe Shumagoroth is a Conan the Barbarian a character, and
Mm,
so the rights belong to that, and so they had to change the name, but they can still use the character, just have to rename him, which is weird.
right.
I'm not sure how that works, but
He'll always be Shumagoroth in my heart.
in my heart, in our souls, he is always Shumagoroth forever
no,
and ever.
what was the nickname we would call him? Oobleck.
Exactly.
Right.
Oobleck.
We would play.
I know.
They could use Oobleck was available. We would have given him it. It's fine.
Perfect.
Yeah, they should have gone with Oobleck. Should have just asked.
I was thinking we were gonna get the pink version. That was the only because I've always had that version in my head because of Marvel superheroes. But I think
Mhm.
eventually, like in like Marvel versus Capcom 3 and some other versions, he was green traditionally. So
Yeah.
you know, I'm okay. I'm okay with it. Maybe down the road we get a smaller pink version, which
Yeah,
nothing
I
wrong
mean,
with
there's always future endeavors, but I think for what we're getting here, green, pink, purple, I'm still happy with it.
it's so cool. The eye is
I was about to
so
say
cleverly done.
the engineering on the eye is so cool. I love the fact that you can pose it in so many ways. You can make it sleepy, crazy. I mean, it's so cool the way they showed off how the eyeball works. Just
Oh, that's
fantastic.
awesome.
I
That
mean, look
pose
at
is
that.
awesome.
It's so good.
Yeah, that's the way they close the
Fun
eyelid,
thing.
and you can actually shift the eye to make it look any
Yeah,
direction.
I
It
mean,
it it just they nailed it. They nailed it with that one.
great figure. Yeah, this is probably the one that has me the most excited.
Yeah, what about you, Larry?
Yeah, I mean, if they would have ended the show after the 2 packs, I would have been like, this is one of their greatest streams that they've done, besides like Hat Labs maybe. But then they threw this guy in there, and then we're not even done with him. But yeah, I'm interested to see what they price him at. That'll be interesting. I'm gonna buy him no matter what because he is awesome. Like we said, what they did with his eye design and the fabrication they did with this figure and all the stuff, the bendy arms, and it looks really really good, and it is an awesome piece. Like that's something you have to have in your collection, even if you play the
Yeah,
game. But if you collect figures, you got to have this.
yeah,
It doesn't matter if you've never seen it before. It's manufactured so well and looks so good that
yeah. And so like it's nailing this pose right here.
oh, that's
Yeah,
so awesome.
it's just so good. It's just got the perfect personality that matches that
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
that pixel art. So, and then like they do, I was surprised by how massive he was. And then, if you take a look at him in the photos compared to other figures, he's pretty sizable. I love that he also included the spiked eye accessory, which is very
yeah.
iconic. Which you were
Yeah,
talking about, Ed's getting like those things that are really attached to the move set. So you have that now that goes really well with him. And on the back, you have him there just against a dead silver samurai. So
so funny that picture.
he's really big. I don't know if it was he too big. Do you like it too big, or you prefer?
Honestly, if you look at him in the game, he might be a little oversized for what you would compare him to the other characters. But honestly, I don't mind for him to be big. I like that fact that with these
Yeah,
tentacles and everything, it's nice to have him a little bit bigger so you can get a little more flexibility in there. So yeah, I'm not super stressed about the size of it. I think it looks really cool regardless. I'm
interesting.
just happy we're getting a character like this.
Yeah.
That was pretty amazing.
Well, in
Plus, we always
Marvel,
complain about Hasbro cheaping out, and they actually made a figure bigger than it should be.
yeah,
We gotta give them props for that because
hundred
they could
percent.
have made it smaller for sure.
Yeah,
But
and he could have had just like dumb articulated legs, but they went with the full wired. Nothing breaking up the sculpt. I'm very curious about how those wires are going to do and how they'll hold up. But it looks like from the poses, I mean, these are just promo photos, so we never know until we get it in hand. It looks like it did a good job. And even with the size thing, if you want to go into video game lore or whatever, in Marvel superheroes, he turns massive. So it's like he can be any size he wants. And
yeah,
You know,
Yeah.
I think they picked a good side where you can have him stretched out and he looks just insane, and then one where he's all sort of crunched up and tentacles folded and he sort of fits with everyone.
Right.
So I think it's a good spot to be in, and he just looked exciting.
Speaking of big,
And exciting.
Exciting,
no, we're not talking about Larry. The Juggernaut.
The Juggernaut. He is beautiful.
Now, talking about resculpt, re-engineering, giving us an upgrade. Hasbro went all out on upgrading the Juggernaut from previous releases. This thing is fantastic. Size-wise, he's bigger. Articulation-wise, he's got better joints, butterfly, shoulders. He's got massive arms. I think the sculpting is even much better. Like the lines in his torso are sculpted in instead of painted on.
Yep.
I mean, this guy's a beast. I mean, Juggernaut should always be massive and oversized, and I think we've gotten also some pretty cool ones, but size-wise, this I think is going to really up the game on the Marvel Legends shelf.
They nailed the pose here compared to the art too.
Look,
It's like a 1-for-1 right there with that one. I was surprised because they showed, like, we all assumed Juggernaut was going to be the one they had teased, and they had showed the effect, and people were like, "Oh, it's very much like the game effect." But when they compared it to the old, like you saw the old Juggernaut, it looks like a play school toy. That old Juggernaut now, and
Yeah.
I mean, I thought that toy was great when it came out.
It's fantastic. So to see something like this done, and like we're saying, really kind of like take it to the next level. This is a fantastic upgrade for a character, especially a cool one like the Juggernaut, who's had a pretty awesome, previous figure. So this is just, look at those arms. I mean, he reminds me a little bit of the Toy Biz one. They have like really exaggerated arms that he looked more like a gorilla.
Yeah, but this one has the shoulders that are like
Yeah.
well proportioned. They're just massive, big shoulders that just give him such presence. But
Yep.
he doesn't have like long, lanky gorilla arms. It's sort of in the mix between that and the Marvel Select one.
Right.
Where like that one's such a great figure, but this one kind of just hits it more in just a fun action figure sort of way.
The style of this one just really takes it over the top as probably the best Juggernaut figure out there right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And you have the butterfly joints, which is just such a great thing for him to have.
Look at it's one of the funnest moves in the game for Juggernaut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
very cool.
It's such a scary thing when he does that. Yeah, it's so good. He has interesting shoulder joints. They're not like a full circular muscle. They have sort of like a half muscle, and then they have this joint there. It doesn't. I don't know if it really bothers me too much. If they didn't go with a fully sculpted muscle joint. But I mean, this is just, for me, it's a nitpick. It's like sort of like it's not. It doesn't deter me either way. Like this is 100% buy for me.
You got to give a little to be able to get these poses.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they did a good job of making it where he can get there. But, like here, you see him put his arms back down. It looks great. It still looks pretty, spot on.
I love this. This is a smashing Captain America.
Well, look how small Captain America looks.
He's tiny. He's tiny, which is perfect. It's perfect. It's exactly what it should be.
And because in the game, this Juggernaut was this huge, oversized character in the game. He filled up the screen. So
yeah,
it's very cool to see that in toy form.
Yeah, and he has a single jointed knee, and we've seen big characters have double jointed. And, they've done that before, but with single jointed, I still think it works fine. I don't need Juggernaut going in Spider-Man poses. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah,
it's fine. And he also has toe joints, so he can still get some dynamic range and put him in interesting poses, and he can do that kind of thing, even though he can't do a full bend at the knee. So
yeah, I think this is going to be one of the most enjoyable figures to play with when this comes out. I think people are going to have just an incredible fun time messing and posing with him and playing, punching other figures off the table. I mean,
he's gonna be super fun. I love the sculpt of the head, the face underneath. I don't mind, like, this guy never takes his helmet off in the game, It never
Mhm.
happens, but I'm fine with not having a battle damage version. I think it's okay. I would have loved that he brought his taunt, and I think like before you actually fight him, he always has like some sort of like metal bar that he bends and throws away. He and does all
Yeah.
his like laughing and all his nefarious shit.
Accessory set, Michael. Accessory set.
No, it's not very sad. If this does well, and we're gonna
Talk to
get to like,
Hasbro, Mikey. You can make it happen.
Get Mr. Hasbro on the podcast next week.
yeah, it's just a Monopoly man. It's just
You,
a
yeah, use your
That's
connection
Mattel.
with the
Monopoly Mattel or Hasbro?
Hasbro. Well, no, please
Hasbro.
Hasbro.
Okay,
Is
there you
it
go.
Parker
Yeah,
Brothers?
it is.
Hasbro bought Parker Brothers?
I
Yeah,
think
they
so.
bought, they bought everything. They bought me, so
You're
we've
the-
all been bought. So
Yeah, you've been branded. I saw it.
oh, super branded, so branded. I'm a shill, baby, 100%. I don't give a damn what you guys say. So I'll
So
suck up to them.
Awesome.
look at that
Uh,
bad boy.
So massive.
Extra hands. Love it.
Yep, he's so great, just busting up Captain America there.
Take
Yeah,
my money.
take it all, man. And they look so great
Oh.
together.
Yeah, look
Like,
at the lineup. That's gonna be fun to get.
it would have been so cool if it said Marvel versus Capcom, but
Oh.
I like what they were able to do and make sort of like their offshoot,
I know.
video game inspired fonts.
It's a shame they weren't able to do the Capcom side of this. Fortunately, a lot of other companies are underway with that stuff. There's Storm Collectibles doing their 1/12th. That's going to do a lot of alpha versions of characters, which are very similar to the Capcom, Marvel vs. Capcom versions.
Yeah.
There is Jada Toys dropping some really awesome Street Fighter figures. They're also going to be doing, I believe, Darkstalkers in the not too distant future.
Yep.
So a few more
Yeah,
characters.
they've already done Mega Man too.
Yep, they've already done Mega Man. So there's a few good ones in there that aren't on the radar right now that I'd love to see. But yeah, what do you guys think? I mean, isn't this such a great line? Oh, if they did a second program or a second wave, what would you guys want to see? Like, what's your like characters from these rosters that you like? Yes, give me this in the next wave.
Oof. Well, if we go through the roster, what do we have here? We have 5, 6, 7, 8. How many characters do we have? We have 4 2-packs, so that's 8, and we have Shuma, Gargantos, and
Yeah.
Juggernaut. So that's 10 characters already.
That's
And
all.
they
So-
showed Cable and Marrow on.
Yeah, and there are
Yeah,
characters
Cable
that
Marrow,
are in the game
that's 12.
that have been made, like Larry just stated, Marrow, Cable.
Cable.
Iron Man.
Yeah, I'm
Iron
sure
Man,
there's a
yep.
few more. What? Let's not make it too complicated. Just give me 1 or 2 figures, characters that you would love to see in the next wave.
I love my Mafix Magneto, but I feel like Magneto's so due for, especially an
Yeah.
MVC inspired.
He is top
Yeah.
on the list for me. I love the way he looked in the game. He was so kind of like menacing, and the posing he would do in it, and the way he would fight and kind of float around everywhere. One of my favorite characters. Yes, I am totally on board with Magneto. Any other one that jumps to your mind?
Well, I would say Gambit. I love the Marvel vs. Capcom Gambit.
Yeah, he's very stylized in the game. A Gambit that could get into the trick pose.
His
Pose,
jacket and everything flowing. is really
trick
good.
card pose is what I was trying to say.
Yeah, Juggernaut.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Yeah. Speaking of characters that I would love, and we love the beefy characters. The Sentinel. Remember how cool the Sentinel was
Yeah.
in this game?
Sentinel is I think it has to be done. He's just such an iconic, like that one's so specific to the game.
Yeah.
There's no
That's
other
the only
version.
time you
of
saw
like
him
that.
in that version. So how we got Shumagorath, how we got, I mean, look at that thing. How we got
Juggernaut.
Juggernaut. Give us a Sentinel like that, oversized Marvel vs. Capcom Sentinel. I would be over the moon.
Yeah, make this like he did with Dragon Man. Make this direct
If
made
it
to
had to
order
be,
figure.
I mean,
If
they
it had
did
to
the Juggernaut where it didn't have to be made to order, but at the end of the day, if push came to shove and they needed extra funding, make this thing made to order. What about you, Larry? Any
I would usually
character from the Marvel roster that you'd love to see?
No, so I said Gambit, but also, I mean, Doom is
Besides
hot right
Gambit?
now. But
I'd like to get at least
the
2
Doctor
from each.
Doom from the is also the style from Marvel vs. Capcom was just awesome.
Yeah, a Doctor Doom would be really nice, especially in the style, especially with the hype Doctor Doom's getting right now. It would be awesome to get another one, especially one that is styled in this version. He would be pretty fantastic. He was also another really fun character to play with. I used to love shooting his little laser gun at everybody.
Yeah. Pew pew pew. So annoying.
Pew, pew, pew.
The second wave, I mean, is easy. You do a Spider-Man versus Magneto, a Gambit
Yep.
versus or Cyclops versus Doctor Doom.
Cyclops, I
You
need a
do
Cyclops. I need
Sabretooth versus Rogue, and then you do a big beefy Sentinel. You do I don't know if you or just do that as a big deluxe, and you got the next wave will be easy for them to make and sell.
Yeah, there's plenty from to choose from.
Yeah, I would love if they don't do it a single. If you don't do it packed with someone, a deluxe Blackheart, and throw in some of the
That's something
accessories.
that I was actually talking to a guy at the shop the other day. How because he was saying Blackheart as well, and I was like, how easy would it just be to do like they did the Blue Venom, to take the Build-A-Figure one they just did and give them video game colors, you know, and do a single package like they've done with like Joe Fixit and Ultron and some of the other characters. Give us that one. So, you know, a lot of people didn't want to buy all those figures from the Strange Tales wave to build him, but we still want a Blackheart. This is a fantastic wave for him to be, you know, put in as a single figure. So hopefully we'll get him in the next figure in the next program, because he is an amazing character.
Yeah. We just got a Maximum Hulk, so I don't think we'd be getting a Capcom Hulk. And like the Maximum stuff, it's just so confusing to me, because then you have this deluxe Juggernaut and a super deluxe Shuma Gargantos. So it's like what's Maximum anymore? Like it just feels like.
And that's kind of what I stated from the beginning with Spider-Man and the Hulk. Is like Maximum for me, and like I think you mentioned this, Michael, that Dan was telling you that it was really like they all had different interpretations of what Maximum meant to them on the Hasbro team. And so I don't even know if they know, but to me it feels like it's just about really trying to do a figure that has, you know, maybe something new happening in articulation wise, and then a bunch of accessories.
Yeah.
And that's really where the Maximum fits in, you know, a bunch of accessories and some kind of like in you know, new kind of style of articulation. But I don't know, you know, for the price point we've been getting for some of these other amazing ones we're getting, like the Juggernaut, like Shuma Gorath. I mean, I don't really know where the Maximum line would even stand anymore, you know. So
look at the cap. The Cap and the Wolverine we're getting in this line are the best, might be the best versions for some people.
Oh, honestly,
easily.
If you take those ones,
how much more Maximum can you get for Cap and Wolverine that they're just putting out in these?
Yeah, I'm just saying, add a bunch more accessories and put them in a box. You know, maybe give Wolverine those double jointed elbows and Maximum Wolverine right there. You know,
that's probably what they're gonna do.
Same thing with Captain America. Great Captain America there. You know, maybe add some other sort of joint for him, and then just a bunch of accessories, more broken shields. You know.
just broken shields. Just all like 3 or 4 different broken shields. Shattered all over the place.
And then you have to give an extra head, no masked head or whatever, and that's what
I know, right? A Steve Rogers
head or something. Yeah. So
yeah, I don't know. We'll see where the Maximum line ends up going, but
it just feels sort of like uninteresting to me at this point right now. Like I'm so into the Game of Burst stuff.
No, like right now, I didn't buy the Maximum Spider-Man. If they're gonna do a Marvel vs. Capcom Spider-Man with that same articulation from the Maximum, why am I gonna buy the Maximum? I'll just wait and get the Capcom one because I love that style anyway.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see a Spider-Man, how they're gonna do Spider-Man in this style. But I don't really see how they're going to continue upping the game for Maximum and really calling them Maximum. So I'll be very surprised and just very interested to hear where Hasbro's going to go, if they are even going to go for any more with the Maximum, because I think Spider-Man was a really big thing and it kind of disappointed, and then the Hulk was just, I think, kind of a disappointment all around. So the line has really kind of lost its steam. And yeah, I want to see what Hasbro's plans are to kind of reignite that or keep it going, or are they just gonna, you know, push it aside and go with something more exciting, kind of like this with the Marvel vs. Capcom figures?
Yeah. So, Wolverine Silver Samurai, that is a fan channel and Amazon exclusive. That'll be June 5th. That'll come out. Psylocke and Thanos, that'll be said Target June 6th. War Machine Omega Red, some point in July, which I think will be part of their Walmart con, when they have all those releases. Captain America and Venom, which is probably the most popular one, is a mainline. So that'll be everywhere June 12th for pre order. Gargantos is also another fan channel, Amazon figure. So that's like a Big Bad Entertainment Earth. Amazon June 18th. And then the week after, June 26th, same deal with Juggernaut. So they're not too crazy. I mean, War Machine, Psylocke are the most annoying one. Probably Psylocke and Thanos will be the most annoying one to get. But the other ones are fairly simple. But
Yeah,
yeah.
there's a couple there that'll be a little tricky, but hopefully, if you guys are really interested in those, just keep your ear to the ground, and hopefully it won't be too difficult to pick them up at Target and Walmart.
Yeah, exactly. And then they tease this little green missile thing that Dwight was putting in his teeth, but I don't think he has teeth gaps that large that he could
Green
actually
Arrow, baby, here he comes.
crossover. I mean, hey, DC and Marvel are doing crossovers, so with the Batman and Deadpool, which is kind of crazy to think about, but
That's true.
I don't know if we're getting what is it though? Who has a Green Arrow
I don't know.
in
Me and Ned
Marvel?
had a conversation about this, and what we hope it is maybe like an Outback Rogue, because if he had
Mm.
some kind of accessories, I think like that, if that green matches.
I
Didn't
don't
we
know.
get
Yeah, so we're
didn't we
thinking
get it?
kind of like Aboriginal weapons, bow and arrows.
Didn't we get an Outback Rogue already?
No, we've
No,
never
Yes, we
gotten
did.
one. And I didn't believe they would make one just because she's kind of scantily clad in her kind of like Aboriginal, Tarzan kind of
Oh, okay.
uh, clothing. But since they did release Kazar and was it Kazar? Kamandi? What's
yeah,
the
it's Kazar.
Zabu?
Kazar.
Zabu, and now they're doing the
Oh,
girl. It's not far fetched to think, it could be a Outback Rogue. I'm not 100% how the arrow fits there, maybe, but it would be really cool. And we've seen characters in that spectrum.
I thought this was Outback Rogue.
That's not Outback
No,
Rogue,
no.
Michael. Go read a comic
That's
book.
what they call her in the release.
But I think a nice themed release. They do Outback Rogue, do a nice release, deluxe release,
Type in there,
re-release.
Michael. Jim Lee Outback Rogue, and
Yeah.
look at the artwork, and you'll see what we're
But I
talking.
think they need to do a re-release of Sauron in a nice deluxe pack. I think that would go awesome.
Ah,
She's
And then do
actually, and the reason,
Outback Magneto on top of it.
right,
Like
and
they
the
have a
other
whole
reason
line
that I
there.
say Outback Rogue is because we did get all the blue and yellow suit X-Men, and we did get Warlord version of Professor X. And if you remember the comics and you remember the lineup there was even a poster about it. They had Outback Rogue. There she is, Outback Rogue, and there's Magneto's there. Warbird was there. A couple other characters, Sauron, and so they're definitely kind of making a lot of figures in that realm. So I would definitely would think maybe an Outback Rogue, but like we see a spear there, we see a knife there, maybe a Green Arrow would fit somewhere, but who knows?
yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. I'm sure
We'll see. I think it's got a lot of people guessing.
Comic Con. Yeah, there's still a lot to get to. I mean, this is June right now, so we're about 2 months away, a little under 2 months from Comic Con, which they're going to show that and so much more. But in the meantime, I'm really happy about the Gamerverse stuff and to see
Yeah.
where it goes.
Very happy, very happy.
And
So,
continuing the Gamerverse stuff, other companies are picking up where Hasbro has not gone with the Capcom. Storm Collectibles is doing the Sagat drop, right?
Sagat drop. Yeah,
There he is. Awesome figure.
Sagat
guys-
drop from Storm Arena looks amazing.
Yeah, you know how much I like Sagat. I've shown a few of the ones I have here on the show. I can't wait to add this one to my collection. I always love it when they hit one of my characters. And I mean, look at this guy. He looks phenomenal.
It's kind of insane to be getting a Storm Collectibles figure in actual 112, and like you can barely tell the difference between this and a collectibles. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Besides the size difference, it just looks like they were able to shrink it down, which is insane.
know. Incredibly well done.
They have this little articulation spot right here for the ab crunch, which I feel like some people made way too big of a deal about it. But I've seen photos of Ken, which is basically out now or is starting to trickle out. Um, and you see the range that Ken has when it goes to the back and forth. It's more
Mhm.
than the Jada one, so
Yeah.
it does get the job done. I don't think Storm are idiots that are like doing something for no reason, you
Yeah,
know.
and I mean, people talk about like they want their figures to be able to be posable. They want them to move. They don't, people didn't really like the rubber chest too much on the Maximum Hulk. Even though it gave him a really cool range, and it
Mhm.
was like not messing up the aesthetics. But here they have a kind of a minimal cut to give this guy maximum posability, uh, and people are like flipping out about it. I mean, like they have to have articulation cut somewhere if you want them to do stuff.
Yeah, look at that, man. Look at that tiger kick. That
Exactly.
thing looks so good.
And so we have to be able to give a little bit too and say like that's okay. He's you can barely see it and you can definitely get him in some awesome poses. Let's just enjoy it. Let's not squabble over little nitpicks all the
Look at
time.
the size too. The size difference here of Sagat and Ryu. It's just perfect. What were we gonna say, Larry?
No, I was saying no one's being tricked that this was a real human being shrunken down. And oh no, he has a little. He has a. Oh no,
You
there's a
ruined my
in his
illusions.
six
My
pack, and now it's all
illusions.
ruined.
I thought they were real people. That's not right.
I always love the fact that now we're getting into the realm of, really being able to properly size these characters, the scaling within the line makes
Yep.
sense. You guys remember all those figures used to be all the same size. That didn't make any, sense that the Juggernaut and Magneto were the exact same
Yeah.
size in the old 90s toy line, Apocalypse and Wolverine were the exact same height. And so it was silly. And so now we're finally, it's pretty well established that, you need good scaling within the lines. You need those big, bulky figures to look big and bulky, the
Absolutely.
smaller, thinner, leaner ones to look that way.
Yeah.
And, it's so cool to see these lines excel in that and give us such a, imposing Sagat versus like the Ryu size figures. And so, yeah, this figure is definitely going to be a must have.
This gets a
Perfect.
it's a
Perfect. Yes. Yeah, I second that, Michael. And not to be outdone, Jada Toys is also dropping their Vega pre-order.
Vega pre-order coming out June 6th. So a lot of stuff happening this June in terms of pre-orders.
June
And a lot
6th
of
is the Psylocke also.
June
Yeah.
6th is Psylocke. June 6th is also
Heavy hitter
is,
month.
is I believe and the day before is Wolverine and Silver Samurai. So
Yeah.
just the back-to-back is pretty intense. And
Lots of sense.
and Sagat is up for pre-order now if you want to go pre-order him. So you can do that. But Vega is coming out. Vega is coming out very soon. Pre-order June 6th. We got to see him up close at WonderCon Ed in his packaging and outside, and it looked ready to go. We were about to just
Beautiful
break the
figure.
glass and take him, but we didn't want to sour our relationship with June. Not yet, at least.
Mikey kept leaving fingerprints and breathing marks on the glass.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
like
pretty-
real creep status over there.
It's a little embarrassing, Michael.
A little embarrassing. It's I'm a desperate man, so need my toys. But he looks great. And okay, so now there's sort of this debate, and I don't know if it's a really big debate, but is Storm? I mean, they haven't even released a figure yet. They barely have released one because now it's starting to trickle out. Like I said with Ken, but people are saying, "Oh, Jada is now Storm is the Jada killer," or some saying some sort of ridiculous stuff like that. I mean, I still I think there's a place for both of these lines, and the fact that Storm is doing Street Fighter 3, it works great because Jada is completing their Street Fighter 2, and I think they look great. I think this Vega looks fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, you're not gonna beat Jada Toys' quality of figure. I mean, when you pick up these toys, they are incredibly well built. The quality control, I think, is really, really well done on this one.
And they get better and better each time.
Yeah, the joints, the plastic, everything feels so sturdy and well done. I love messing around with all the Jada toys because they are just they feel like really good durable figures, but they just look like amazingly well done.
Yeah.
Like little statues. They're really, really great. Every figure has just kind of blown me away quality wise. So I'd like to see what that's going to feel like for Storm, if their figures are going to feel as sturdy, because I've had a few of the bigger figures and they're fantastic,
Mhm.
but they use a little bit of a different kind of engineering and tooling. So I want to see them, especially in 1/12, to see how they compare to Jada. I don't think you're going to get a better quality figure than Jada. If they match Jada, it's going to be amazing. Um,
What if they surpass Jada?
if they surpass Jada, it would be quite the feat. I would be pretty blown away if their figures feel as good or better than Jada.
Okay.
Um, I mean, they look fantastic. Yes, they look amazing. Will they handle as well? That's to be determined. So
Right.
I'm very curious to get one in hand and kind of mess around and compare to the Jada figures. But is it a Jada killer? I don't think so. I think there's enough room in this sandbox for many companies to play. Like
Yeah.
Mikey just said, Alpha is very distinct look and versions of these characters, even though a lot of similar or the same characters, but not you know whether they're not exactly like the Street Fighter 2 counterpart. So,
Right.
there's definitely a room there for companies to create similar products. And at the end of the day, like us who love Street Fighter are excited because we're going to get a lot of these versions that we enjoy. And even if they're made by different companies, I think we'll be happy picking up from both of them and just adding more and more. So I'm not really concerned about it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, how lucky are we to kind
Yeah.
of be in this point where we're having two companies making these amazing 112 Street Fighter figures, and not, one's doing Street Fighter 2, one's doing Alpha, and it's something that we've wanted for such a long time. It's like really great Street Fighter characters, Street Fighter
Yeah.
toys, and
Really fun ones.
finally in this era of getting those. And yeah, it's just going back to sort of the Marvel stuff and them being like, oh. I'm curious how long their Gamerverse Capcom stuff was in, production or been working at it, or if this was a quick turnaround to be like, hey, look at how well Jada's doing, and look how quick Storm is now going for that video game market that we need to get. We need to get some of that pie too, baby. We hungry
I
too.
would be surprised that that wasn't an actual conversation that Hasbro had. I think they looked at what Jada was doing, what Storm was about to do, and they're like, "We have this amazing, um, license. Why aren't we capitalizing on those video games as well?"
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so I think they probably put this line on the front burner to get it out quickly because
yep.
they wanted to capitalize on that momentum for sure.
Yeah.
I really think that's true.
Yeah, because last year in October, Marvel vs. Capcom, the Capcom Fighting Collection came out, which is something that was super unprecedented that no one thought would ever happen. And then it just happened. And then I think it did really well. Sales number were great because right after they announced Capcom Fighting Collection 2, which had Capcom vs. SNK, SNK 2, Power Stone, Plasma Sword, Project Justice, which was Rival Schools. So it just sort of there's been this giant audience, and you watch Evo every year, and that Street Fighter community just builds and builds and builds, and people been wanting Marvel versus Capcom, X-Men versus Street
Oh yeah.
Fighter back in their lives. I remember playing Coda Children of the Atom with you and playing that at, like, I think the first time at Universal Studios or something. It was
Yeah, I
something like,
remember those arcades. Yeah.
yeah, 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 and just like how they etched such
Oh
a
yeah, it's
part of my
it's become
memory.
generational. We grew up with the first iterations, and and the younger generations like you, Mikey, and further on have also found those games and become huge fans of them. So I definitely see these franchises really, really developing into something that a lot of people are into,
Yeah.
not just older people that started the games, but I mean these games keep coming out, and newer iterations of them are fantastic. We played Street Fighter 5, and is 6 out already? Right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
6 have been out, yeah.
Yeah, and 6. I was like,
What are the times, old man?
that was last year.
it's getting late. Yeah, 6 is out, and so it's like really, really great games. Capcom's been releasing stuff, so I definitely don't see this guy. That's me, old fogey. See this dying off anytime soon.
No, you're sticking with us. You're sticking with us through all the Street Fighters that are coming out. But yeah, so I think it was, I'm pretty sure, like what you said, that they saw how well these things were doing and the reception for everything, and they're like, we need to move this to the front of the queue and get this
Oh, yeah.
out. So
Yeah.
I'm hit while the iron's hot, so to speak. But yeah, Jada stuff looks great. Really excited for this Vega. I'm happy to get this one. And with Storm, the one thing with Storm is you never know if they're gonna do a full line. They haven't done it with Mortal Kombat. They haven't done it with
It's true.
Street Fighter. They're an incomplete line of figures. So you might get Ken, you might get Ryu, you might get Sagat, and they did offer Charlie, which is my favorite character from Alpha. But then maybe not, you don't get any more after
Yeah,
that.
maybe they move on and we don't see anything else. So at least with Jada, we know they're going to be a definitive Street Fighter 2 line,
Yes.
and then
Yes.
you'll be able to get all the characters and have a complete collection, and they're fantastic figures. So yeah, the Storm line is up in the air. We'll see how far they take it. But at least we know for a fact that Jada will be putting out all these Street Fighter figures, and we will be able to have a full roster. So I think that's really something that's going to drive people to continue to buy Jada Street Fighter figures, regardless of what Storm's doing.
Yeah. So we love these Street Fighter characters. They're awesome. We love these.
You know what else we love, Michael?
What else do we love?
Batman.
Batman. Well, before we get to Batman, which we do love Batman, I wanted to ask you guys, what other Capcom characters would you want to see Jada or Storm go for to complete? We talk about the Marvel versus Capcom, roster.
I see where you're going.
So then, if we kind of take a little quick look, what we got over here, we have your Street Fighters, you got your Darkstalkers, you got your Mega Man, you got your Strider, you got all these pieces, and then you also got your Marvel superheroes over here. So, Larry, let's start with you. Which would be the Capcom character that you would want to see Jada or Storm go for?
I think Jada would be awesome with Arthur.
Arthur.
Cool.
Yeah, Arthur would be a great one.
That's from
Ghosts and Goblins.
But yeah, from that lineup you were showing before, it would be Jin. I love Jin.
Yeah, Jin's a great one.
Especially if they do an alternate body of him just in his underwear, screaming.
That would be great. I would love a break apart Jin.
A face figure, something or whatever. That would be amazing.
See, that the thing about Jada is that you can probably count on them to do something like that. That they would do the alt version of something ridiculous, and it could be an exclusive figure to Comic-Con, to whichever Comic-Con. So yeah, I would love that. What about you, Ned?
I'd buy that for $1.
I was just watching that documentary, the Robobot, the Robobot,
Oh,
the RoboCop one. Have you seen that one, RoboCop documentary?
Riveting.
It's so good. It's so damn good. I need to finish it, but it's funny because they have like every single actor that's in the movie talk about their specific scenes, and
Gotta finish it, Michael.
Finish it. It's good stuff. It's really good stuff. Good stuff here with Capcom. Ed, who do you want to see?
I want to see Strider. Every time we would go, I would have, the one that I always went to was Mega Man. I love Mega Man, but Strider was always number 2 when it came to the Capcom lineup. I always leaned heavily into the Marvel stuff, but when I had to pick Capcom, it would be Mega Man or Strider. I love Strider. He's such a cool looking ninja. I loved his moveset. I loved his big, metal wolf animals and stuff that he would shoot at you.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. I would love to see him come with a couple little accessory creatures, metallic robot creatures.
Yep.
Yeah, give me Strider, man. I want it.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of what's been announced. Those two haven't been announced for sure. Arthur's a great pick. Strider, obviously. Street Fighter, we're gonna get majority of these. We have a Cammy. We're gonna get a Zangief. We have a Bison. We have a Guile. Charlie. Storm said they're gonna do a Charlie. Sakura, obviously, very important, and Dan would be great. Darkstalkers, I would love a full Darkstalkers lineup.
Jada's working on it for you.
Storm's working on it. I don't know if Jada will, but maybe Jada will.
I thought Jada told us at WonderCon they were doing Darkstalkers.
Yeah, I think maybe that first one, but I don't know about Darkstalkers. Well, it's just kind of confusing because they're sort of interloping different things, different Capcom.
All right. We'll see what the cat drags in.
Yeah, the old cat dragged it.
All right, stop rambling and pick your character, Michael.
Okay. I'm gonna go Jill Valentine. She's
Yes,
just
awesome pick.
so
And I love the way she was in the
unnecessary.
game too. She was so cool in the game. Very, very neat in her little uniform. Love
Yeah,
it.
yeah. I mean, a Mingo would be super fun. Like, imagine just
Yes.
a massive Mingo would be
He's a
so
cool
cool.
character, but I found him so annoying. He was so horrible to fight against. You
Yeah,
guys are so
someone knows how to play with him, it could be very
oh my
annoying.
god, yeah. He was so obnoxious.
Yeah, but that would be such a fun figure.
It would be a
And
cool figure.
it's just like it's just kind of crazy to be in this place where man, we might actually get a full MVC2 lineup, which is pretty
That would
nuts.
be bananas.
Yeah,
Bananas.
we're getting there slowly but surely. It only took us a number of years to get there. What doesn't take a long time are McFarlane toys. They just come out all the time, every time,
Oh my gosh, are
and
they pumping them out?
it's a
Especially
it's a factory.
Batman.
All the time Batman. So they had their McFarlane Toy Showcase over the week, and they showed off a lot of interesting stuff, a lot of
Interesting.
animated.
A lot of things we've actually already had seen too, you know.
Yeah, so we can go through a couple of things here. We have Ultraman, right?
The
This is
movie,
Ultraman's
Superman
movie,
movie.
Ultraman, um, which it could be cool.
Yeah.
I
It could be
mean,
cool. I mean, if the movie does really well, I'm sure a lot of those figures will do well because people will be excited about the movie and the characters and will like to pick those up. But that is to be seen how James Gunn, Superman movie does. So
yep.
let's
Let's
fingers
move on.
crossed.
Move on ahead. Animated Batman. This is I don't know how much new is here. The cape is new. I think the
I
head
don't know
might be
what
new.
it is, but I love it. It
Yeah,
screams the old Kenner Batman animated series figure to me. I used to love that figure. I think I've told the story of how much that figure meant to me because of when it came out and when I got one was right after Hurricane Andrew, and it was like the only toy I had to keep me company for a long time. Remember, I think I've told you guys this story.
yeah, great movie.
Love it. Love the cartoon. Fantastic animation. I will buy this one.
That's a really good one. I do like that one. You get the profile, you get the back shot, and the fun
You
cloth cape.
love that back shot, don't you, Michael?
I love a
Oh,
good
no.
back shot. So, what you got there, Laszlo?
There he is.
So,
This is the one I put on the motorcycle.
yeah, that's the motorcycle one. That's a cool one. I like that one a lot.
Yeah, the new one, the bat symbol is different, and the
Oh
And the
yeah.
cape is like more flowy, like the original figures.
yeah.
Can you show that Batman really quick to the camera? Close up. Yeah, that's the ticket.
Oh, that's what Mikey needed.
That's all. Oh shit.
Yeah, he needed that to get him going.
Yeah. Oh, I'm feeling really good now. Okay.
Total
That's
toy perv.
yeah. So that works. But this one does look cool. There's something about it that just feels a little bit different and interesting, and it doesn't
Because
hit
it
that.
really resembles the original figure. That's what does it
Yeah.
for me. Is the
Yeah.
cape. Is those were the kind of capes that the original figures came with, the kind of flowy
Yeah.
black capes. And so we're getting away from the plastic cape that were from the previous interpretation. So that's why I
Right.
really am excited about this one.
It's funny how the capes just make such a big difference like that for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really works and sells it. Killer Croc, same old Killer Croc we've seen before, but cool, you can get that version.
Yeah, a lot of people still want to collect a lot of these characters because the old line has gotten pretty pricey for a lot of these. So
Yep.
a great way to pick up a lot of these other ones.
Especially Great Ghost, which is
Yeah.
one of the best episodes from the animated series. That was
I
voiced
love
by
it.
Adam West. Yeah, such a fantastic episode. That figure goes for.
Who voiced the bad guy in that episode? Do you remember?
Oh, it's a great question.
He's Googling. He's Googling.
I'm not Googling. I'm Googling in my mind.
The Mad Bomber was voiced by Bruce Timm.
Bruce Timm.
So he was working. It was the meta of him working with the guy that inspired him to do Batman when he was a kid.
All right. Way to make it about yourself, Bruce Timm.
Look at Larry dropping those facts.
That bat
I
knowledge.
love that. I love that episode.
He is the encyclopedia. So Great Ghost looks awesome. Yeah, it's such a great episode. And this is super cool to build a figure.
Build a figure.
I don't even remember Jonah Hex from the show.
I don't either. Larry, hit us with your facts.
He showed up in a flashback with Ra's al Ghul, which is cool because Ra's al Ghul's in this line with his his son, and they do a whole story flashback with Jonah Hex.
Interesting.
Fantastic.
But that Jonah Hex looks pretty awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
physical.
Very stylized.
Anything
And
under the Bruce Timm designs are just they always look great.
yeah. Yeah, and I will give this to McFarlane kudos because they've been designing these Build-A-Figures by themselves. That they do a really good job reinterpreting the animated style, doing fully original Build-A-Figures. I've not seen the Bruce Wayne line at all, the wave in my Target. So
Sorry, Michael.
help me out there, chat. Help me out there, viewers. Kite Man, big old kite in the back.
big old pass for me.
Big old pads, big old Kite Man.
The only reason I know Kite Man is because I watched the Harley Quinn show.
Yeah, that's right.
And he's funny in that show. He's kind of interesting. It's a really kind of silly idea for a character, but the way they write him in that show, he's just kind of funny and lame and
Yeah,
kind of cool. So I don't know. Maybe there's
what Kite Man should
enough
be,
fans
right?
out there
So,
to buy this and not let it become a peg warmer.
I'm sure there's some like OG Kite Man fans, but you're wrong. You don't even know what Kite Man does. Yeah, I know the real Kite Man.
He's way better than that show.
Yeah, exactly. Shut up, nerd. Super Friend stuff. I mean, it's cool, I guess. Like, it's a nice blast from the past to see those, but I mean,
Yeah, people like their Super Friends. I think there's already been so many Super Friends stuff done already that I'm kind of like not have it on my radar. But I'm sure a lot of people are still collecting Super Friends stuff. I love that. I love that cheetah right there. So
it's very classic style from the old
I love the
show.
classic style. She looks like she's wearing a onesie.
Well, speaking of onesie, look at Pajama Flash.
What
over
did you
here.
call this one?
The Sheldon.
The
Sheldon
Sheldon version.
This is
Saggy bottom.
Party City Flash here. So I
He
guess
needs to work on his glutes.
he does. He's just super flat. He's like Conan O'Brien there, just like nothing going on.
Terrible.
Yeah, this is just shapeless, really. And then there's more shapeless stuff with Superman and his old kryptonite ball and chain. So if that's not a metaphor for something, I don't know what is. We seen this figure. We saw her at Toy Fair and it looked really cool. The Elite
Lilith
Edition
from
Lilith.
Diablo.
Yep.
And that was the thing with this
Lilith.
reveal. It was a lot of stuff we had already seen. They've already talked about. We've seen it at WonderCon. We've seen it on other, releases. So it was just more iteration of the stuff that there's, have already put on. So not too exciting.
Doomslayer there. That's part of the Elite Collection as well. And this is a giant mech from Doom Eternal. So I've not played the game. It looks awesome, but it'll be fun. And then some more of the statue stuff, which is kind of cool, but not really anything I'm interested. I don't know if you've been dying for a Dwight Schrute action figure, but there you go.
A lot of people are, Michael.
Yeah. The Warhammer stuff always looks awesome. So
Warhammer stuff has gotten real popular. I mean, the game itself, Games Workshop had reported a record year, and they're doing just crazy good. The game's doing fantastic. The video game that was just launched a few months ago is doing great, and now Henry Cavill and Amazon are working on the show.
Yeah.
So expect to see a lot more Warhammer in your future.
Ed, if I wanted to get into Warhammer, where can I start? Where do I go to get that?
You'd want to look up a nice official retailer of Warhammer, and I just so happen to know that Hidden Temple Toys is an official Warhammer retail. Get the good stuff at Hidden Temple Toys.
Good segue there, right?
Right? Perfectly done, Michael.
Toss them up, and you just knock them out of the park, like old Jack Willie Smith.
Just call me Baby Ruth.
Baby Root. We know our old, the old ball and stick. So, as they call it, the old pastime.
Great Hambino.
The old great Hambino.
The Sultan of what is it? The Sultans
of Swing.
No, it's from Sandlot. What are they? They have like a whole bunch of names for them. It was really funny.
Sultan of SWAT.
SWAT. There you go. Larry knows about that. SWAT.
I thought you were talking about what's the band called? Is it Sultan of Swing? Dire Straits.
Yep, sure.
Cherry Poppin' Daddies? What?
Remember the old cherry poppin' daddies, the big bad voodoo daddies?
Yeah. Didn't you used to wear a suit, Mikey, and have
I mean,
those
I
like
never wore a zoot
And he
suit.
was
Are
a
you
riot
sure?
when he wore
I
that
would
suit.
never wear a zoot suit in my damn
Eh,
life.
I don't know about that.
You
I
were
look pretty.
skating
I look
and
pretty. I think we should all wear
shooting.
zoot suits at one for a
I know.
stream.
Let's do a show and just wear zoot suits.
That'd be really cool. I bet you have one in your closet.
You know, we
You
what
look
is
like a
that?
bunch of Dick
Oh,
Tracy villains with their
don't know
zoot
that
suits.
thing if you ain't got that swing.
It's in your soul.
No.
You know you want to tap tap tap.
Oh yeah, I will. I love that.
This guy. What's this guy? Guido. What's his name, Larry? What's his?
I don't care anymore.
His name is Blue Arrow.
Blue Archer, I think.
Oh, it's so original. Blue
Something
Archer.
like that. I forget.
Yeah, something like that. I'll find his name over here. The McFarlane stuff, man. I'm just like, it's just so much, and I think some of it's
It's
just
a
not that
lot, and it's a
great.
lot of like stuff that just really isn't
Dark
hot
Archer,
right
sorry,
now,
Dark
so you just
Archer.
kinda lose track of
You're
it all.
forgiven. Yeah, it's a little overwhelming.
No, and now
This
that he's
guy.
coming to the end of the license, he's pumping out stuff like crazy.
Yeah,
Well, I'm
everything I
into.
think you get in the pipipeline has to come out.
Yeah, gotta throw it out. Gotta
Like
get
when
out.
Larry
Get out.
goes to the bathroom, you know how that goes.
Just dump it. Dump it.
Dump it.
Get it on my body right now.
Everybody poops. Everybody
Yeah.
poops.
This is what it sounds like. Get out. That's the McFarlane. That's the I don't know what to say anymore. I don't know. I had a bad joke. Batmobile, DC Rebirth Batmobile. Cool. I mean, I will say it's awesome that he does all the vehicles, and he does it for a pretty cheap price, which is very cool. So, and then the Spawn resin statue. Hey man, like, where's the Spawn movie? What's happening?
I know. I've been wanting to talk about the Spawn movie forever, but he just won't do it. He had all these names attached: Jeremy Renner, Michael J. Fox. I'm sorry. I mean,
what Catholic? He got him out of retirement.
I meant Jamie Foxx. I'm sorry. I knew it was Fox.
I understand the confusion. Yeah, it's exactly
very
the
similar.
same.
Very
Michael J.
similar.
Fox is Al Simmons. that'd be a pretty good role for him. Oh man. You have Christopher Lloyd play the clown.
I don't understand why you're not a casting director. You'd be nailing this.
I think I would have some really good picks, guys.
Yeah, a really good pick. I know what you get. Get Michael J. Fox on this.
Get him for everything.
But yeah, we'll see. We'll see if it ever
He's
happens.
Professor. He plays
mean,
every character.
I will say,
like,
don't hold your breath.
Yeah, with McFarlane, I mean, he's obviously pumping out these toys, so maybe he's supposed to direct the movie too. So I don't even know what's happening with that.
I don't know how that's gonna work.
But speaking of cool things that are coming to movies, we have Elden Ring that is going to be directed by Alex Garland, of all people, by A24, who will be producing it. Garland is writing and directing Elden Ring, which is an amazing video game. It feels like Game of Thrones on acid. I mean, George R.R. Martin also contributed to the game and helped create it. So
it was a fantastic, eerie, beautiful game. Just crazy, intense, very, very difficult. No explanation. They just kind of throw you in there. I remember starting that game up, and I was like, "What in the world is happening here?" And you just get your ass handed to you every like 2 seconds, but you just keep coming back for more because it's so good. And then eventually you figure out a little bit here and a little bit there, and suddenly you're staying alive, and suddenly you're getting better, and suddenly the game's starting to make sense. And then it just opens up this incredibly cool world and the story. What an incredible game. I can totally see why Alex Garland loved it and why he decided he wanted to put efforts into creating a movie about it, because it is just incredibly cool game. Very interested to see how they would do a movie based off of Elden Ring. I mean, it's not a very linear game, and there's a lot of really cool elements in there, so he would just have to kind of like put it all together in his way. It definitely has a really cool idea there and elements of story. So yeah, I'm excited. I love it.
I love the game. Yeah, what you said is it's narrative. It's not really like linearly focused. it's sort of all over this massive open world with side quests and interesting characters, and you can spend hours and hours going on those sort of missions and get lost in it, right? So it's sort of like, how do you streamline all of that? And Garland I trust. He has done such amazing work. I mean, he's adapted novels before. Annihilation was based off a novel, but he also deterred from the book and sort of went his own way, but still sort of honoring it, but sort of kind of making it his own. So I'm interested in how connected this will be to the game, if it's just using bits and pieces to make his own story, or if he's adapting a specific story, if it's like the Radon story or something, if that's the main character, like how does that go? How do you and put in all the demigods? How do you like find all these interesting side characters like Dung Eater, and how do you put them in the movie? It's if that's where he's going to go with it.
I know
It's
there's so much in that game. There's so many characters. There's so many different ways he can go. I mean, obviously, I feel that he'll take elements and he'll have to craft his own story. And I mean, he's a talented writer, so I'm sure he could kind of weave what is there into some, exciting narrative. And just,
yeah,
I just hope he really captures, the essence of the game, and that just kind of like
yeah.
dark, surreal, just kind of
Fantasy,
pretty,
yeah.
that dark fantasy type of thing. So yeah, it could really be an amazing film. So I'm definitely gonna, be keeping an eye out for more news on that
Yeah,
project.
it could be the next Lord of the Rings, or it could be the next Legend. So it can like sort of kind of go either way, which is like Legend is very much like very sci-fi fantasy, mystic
Yeah.
and demons and sorcery and stuff, and Lord of the Rings sort of deals with that, but there's a lot more of a human connection to the
Yeah,
stories,
Lord of the
obviously.
Rings is just Lord of the Rings is much more narrative. It has
Yeah.
a story that it follows. It has like a whole plot and everything like that. And so there's so many different little plot points in Elden Ring. It's like, where do you go? Where do you build the
Yeah.
story from there? And so
Yeah.
that's going to be his challenge, I think, weaving all those little plot points into a cohesive movie.
Mhm.
But there's a lot there, man. There's some really cool characters, really cool
Yeah.
stories. So I want to see what he comes up with.
Yeah, I imagine he has to be a fan of the game to even sort of take on that challenge. I think
Yeah,
you
yeah.
have to be aware of it in the sense of you've either played it or you're well attuned with video games that you can find the pieces and to actually find, okay, this is I have the idea like how I'm gonna approach this and this is where I'm gonna go with it. So
What a fun position to find yourself in, huh? Like to be creative and like just be like, I'm gonna play this video game because I'm bored, and like, oh, this video game is so amazing, I'm inspired. And then you're like, you know what? I'm gonna figure out a way to write this into a movie, and that you're literally in the position to create like an actual like amazing, big budget movie based off of this incredibly interesting game and make it a reality. It's so cool, I just I just can't wait. I really hope it happens. I hope he's able to do it, and I hope it gets made because I think it could be something really, really spectacular.
well, let's put ourselves in sort of that position of being the head of a studio, Ned and Ricardo Studios, and we were making our own films. Who would be the director to pick the perfect video game adaptation? There've been so many terrible ones, but it feels like we're maybe on the other side of video game adaptations. We have Elden Ring that's going to come out. We have Last of Us that's done so well. It feels like it's sort of taken a new territory. It's in this new era where they're a little bit more of a respected medium. The Death
Yeah,
Stranding is going to have a movie version. So where would you go?
it's pretty crazy how many video game movies have come out. I mean, shows really. I think the movies have been kind of sparse, but they're getting success. Sonic was successful, Mario was successful. I think this new Minecraft movie was very successful. So
Minecraft's hugely successful.
yeah,
Yeah.
so they're finding ways to make these video games more and more successful. Now, my hope is that they're able to do some of these iconic ones that have kind of flopped. Like I still have high hopes for a really good Street Fighter movie. We've had conversations about it before. I was like, how do you make a good Street Fighter movie? Is it even possible? I really believe that it can be, but you just have to
I
have the
mean,
right.
they're making it.
Yeah,
It's
they're making it.
happening.
Uh,
Apparently, Jason Momoa is going to be Blanca,
yeah, yeah.
which works,
So
I think.
yeah, I mean, He does fit the part. So
Big and beefy.
we'll see. We'll see what turns up. Like I said, you just have to have the right people behind it. I think it's possible. I would hate it for it to be like the Mortal Kombat remake, which was kind of subpar.
Yeah.
They really tried to go all out and make it good, but it didn't really hit the right notes. But when you start really thinking about it, man, there's so many cool games that I would love to see made into one, and a lot of them already into production, or at least some sort of, work in progress. But like a few that always stick to me that I would like to see something done is like Grand Theft Auto. What a cool world that they've developed in Grand Theft Auto. It's like a parallel universe to our world where like crime and all these things are just like normal everyday things. And my favorite one was Grand Theft Auto 4 with Liberty City and Nico Bellic. I love that game.
Yeah.
It was the first GTA that I've actually played all the way through and beat, which was really fun. And I did almost every single one of the missions and stuff like that. So I love this story. I would love to see that one adapted into a movie. It's kind of crazy how you would do GTA into a movie, and because every game was its own story, and so I guess you just kind of pick one and go. And I really love GTA 4, so that would be a really cool one. I mean, I don't know who would direct it. There's so many cool directors out there. I'll leave it up to you guys to kind of pick one for me, because
Brett Ratner.
There you go, Brett Ratner. Guy Ritchie.
You Bulls, Grand Theft Auto.
Because it would be awesome if they did like a London one. They gotta create a city based off of London and then have Guy Ritchie do that one.
That would be the way to go.
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
Go. You little bastard, Rat. Oh, you might.
There you go.
I can do it. Just hire me. I'm available. I'm an actor, man.
I'd cast you. If I was a casting agent, you'd be top of my list, Michael. Another one that I think would be good, and a company that I think has done really great games, and I don't understand how they haven't been able to transfer them into movies that are successful. And they've tried with Warcraft, and it was a disaster. Blizzard, they've done some really cool ones. Warcraft, such a cool game, such a really, really neat story, and they completely destroyed it with their terrible movie adaptation. But the one I think would do really, really cool is a dark fantasy based in the world of Diablo. I think that would be an incredibly cool one, where you actually like have a movie that has them like go and like save people, and like every time through the movie he finds better armor and weapons and stuff, and like kind of include that into the script. I think that would be really, really cool. So yeah, and then Spacecraft, I think. Another one.
Starcraft.
I'm sorry, Starcraft. Sorry.
Spacecraft is the Mexican ripoff.
Mel Brooks is doing that one.
Well, it's Spacecraft.
It's getting late. I think we're over like the 2-hour mark.
Spacecraft starring Michael J. Fox.
It's too much. Hey man, he still got it. Don't knock Michael J.
He still got it. I never say
yeah. Starcraft, really cool movie. Science fiction, love science fiction, love the world of Starcraft. I definitely think a good movie could be tailored in that realm. What do you guys think? Pass it off to you guys.
Yeah, I'll name mine off pretty quick. KOTOR is an awesome story. Everyone loves that game and everything. A movie of that, I think, will be awesome. Yeah, and I think it brought up Bryce Dallas Howard did awesome with Mandalorian. Giving her full reign with KOTOR will be pretty cool. And then we talked about Peter Jackson, Lord of the Rings earlier. I think you give the Weta workshop of the Elder Scrolls universe and do Skyrim or something like that. I think that would be pretty cool.
I would cast Mikey as Darth Malik.
Oh, yeah, that'd be awesome.
I could do that.
You totally could.
Those would be my two. KOTOR and Elder Scrolls.
I also like to play. I would like to play some sort of alien at some point in my life, in my acting career.
Don't you do that on a daily basis, Michael?
I think a KOTOR movie, you just leave it alone. Don't have it attached to anything else in the Star Wars.
Mikey just plays an alien.
Stop it.
All right, what about you, Mikey?
He plays a different kind of alien.
I play the alien that gets sent to El Salvador.
Oh no.
Oh, Michael.
That's rough. That's bad stuff.
Uh,
Bad
what about you,
stuff.
Mikey?
What about you,
Besides,
Mike?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we were talking about it. You guys were poo-pooing my ideas before because they were already in production or sort of in production, but we don't know what's happening. One of my favorite games that it's still just it's again when I talk about sort of etched in your mind, just that just had such a profound effect on me. Was Bioshock. Bioshock is hands down one of my top 10 games of all time.
it's a
Um,
yeah. I
it and
remember this game. I remember we played it at the same time. It's
yeah.
insanely well made. This game, I'm surprised they haven't done BioShock as a movie or a show yet.
Well,
Because
they've been
it's
trying to.
yeah, they've been trying to, and I'm pretty sure it's in production already or in some type of moving forward. But yeah, it's such a cool game, and with the success of like Fallout and what's the HBO one, Left 4 Dead,
Spacecraft.
Last of Us.
Last of Us,
The rest of us.
the rest the rest of us. How is BioShock
Sorry, Michael
not
J. Fox. Yeah.
already far into production? So yeah, I would love to see this. You're
Yeah, I'm
spot on.
curious. Yeah, there's no cast now. It's Francis Lawrence, who I think did he did a lot of music videos. He did tons of films as well. He did Constantine, I believe.
I'm
I mean, it's not
casting you as Frank Fontaine,
Frank
Michael.
Fontaine. I love Frank Fontaine.
Oh
We
yeah,
would just we do Frank Fontaine voices all the time.
love Frank Fontaine. That was an epic battle. I
Yeah,
remember, man. That
I
was
was
hard.
I mean, I don't want to spoil the game. I mean, it's a little old now, but
Hey man, if you haven't beat it by now, forget it, man. You're getting spoiled.
I asked Netflix, would you kindly make a good adaptation?
Yeah.
Because it's such a great story. Gore Verbinski was I think attached to it years back, and then there was issues with the budget and trying to figure it out. And I think he would have been great. 'Cause I think the stuff he did with Pirates of the Caribbean sort of, Bioshock had a little bit more of this undercurrent of the political climate of when McCarthyism and those sort of underlining things and idea of communism and how that interplays and just a fracturing of people and community and it's just like interesting ideas that go into Bioshock. Plus, it's just a super fun game. It's very eerie. It's super creepy. It's really engaging, and then just it has also the twist to it that's just so it takes you by surprise. You don't even realize it, which is so great, so clever. Um, I would love to see that, and I hope they do a really good job. You know, Frankenstein trailer came out, I was like, oh, Del Toro would be obviously just do such a great. You look at something like Shape of Water, which is very, has sort of similar tones to Bioshock, but just those, the big daddies and how he would make that into his interpretation of that would be so amazing. So he just creates a world that's so vivid and imaginary, and that would be cool. But I hope Francis Lawrence does a great job. He better because I'll be mad, man. I'll roundhouse his ass. You believe me? So, yeah, Bioshock for me. Long-winded answer just to say Bioshock, but there you go. So,
Thanks for the win, Michael.
you're welcome. No wonder. I feel like you're not going to hire me anymore. But speaking of not being hired, this is a terrible segue, but Diamond Select shut their doors, and so we don't have Diamond Select anymore. So
Yeah.
that's
What is it? What's the name of the company? Oh, I can't remember the company at the bottom.
Ad Populum.
Ad Populum. That's right. Ad Populum. Yeah, they decided to shut down Diamond Select. All their toy lines, all their employees that they created these awesome toy lines over the years are no more, unfortunately, which is a big blow to the toy community because they've been around for so long. They've done some pretty amazing stuff. It's pretty crazy to hear that they shut down that whole division. So
Yeah.
we'll see what the future for Diamond is, but they have been taking quite the beating in the company as restructuring continues, and we'll see where that leaves. I know the comic book community is also have been in quite a stink because of distribution, and I just recently read a story about a small printing what do you call it, distributor comic book company that has sent stuff to be distributed through Diamond, and Diamond hadn't paid them, and they have another order to fill for Diamond, but they're afraid to do it because if they don't get that payment, they will go under. And so, yeah, it's a mess over there at Diamond.
Bad stuff. Bad stuff. It's really sad to see Diamond shut down and like you tell people got laid off. It's a scary time in terms of just the toy economic outlook and where things are going to go and trying to find some sort of silver lining. And it's really hard to do that. But hopefully there's some sort of resolution to everything to kind of normalize things. I had a buddy that also was worked at Super 7 that got let go. So you're
Oh,
feeling it all over the industry. But yeah,
yeah.
definitely bummers. So we definitely eulogize it in a way where we can go back and think about our favorite Diamond Select figures. And if you guys want to go and share those, I can go with mine. Some of my favorite ones from the top of my head would be the first one I think I ever fell in love with was the Thanos with Lady Death or just Death.
Mm.
I think that was the one I was always wanting. Again, Marvel versus Capcom, and not having a great Thanos figure or having any Thanos figure, but seeing that select one, just how massive and imposing, and all the paint applications of that Thanos was so cool. That was one of my favorite ones. What about you guys?
Yeah, the Diamond. I think one of my favorite things from Diamond was they were always pretty good and not afraid to put out a very large, oversized figure. And through the years, we've gotten some really, really cool ones. I remember the first time I saw their Abomination, I was kind of just blown away at what a
Mm.
chunk of a figure that thing was. We've talked about it in the past, and just it was really cool to see a company making just these insanely large figures. And most of their oversized figures like the Juggernaut and the Hulks and stuff like that have always been kind of impressive. And so yeah, it'll be a shame not to look forward to those anymore. There he is.
Which one? Who's the Abomination? I can't tell.
Thanks.
You
No,
got him.
that's beautiful. You set yourself up for that one, Larry. I'm sorry.
Good,
Oh, I don't
good
care.
get.
I love this figure. I can be compared to it.
Yeah, no, he's great. Such a fantastic figure. Yeah, there's a big, bulky, massive figure. Were so cool from Marvel Select. What about you, Larry? What were some of your favorites?
This guy.
Oh yeah,
I love their Apocalypse. It was really cool, and the cool accessories they came with was really fun. And then of course I love their Juggernaut that they did, which you can
yeah.
tell the one we showed earlier for the Gamerverse is like the upgraded version of that. But for a
Hmm.
long time, yeah, that was the biggest size, awesome, chunky Juggernaut you could have, and it was awesome.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I think everyone is number one. And I think Ed can tell us about that one.
Yeah.
And it kind of plays perfect to, if we're going back in time, this is a segment that we like to call. What would we like to call it?
The Yellowing.
What do you have for us on the Yellowing this
Uh,
week, my
Yeah,
friend?
we were talking about some of the coolest figures that we got out of Diamond Select, Marvel Select, and for me, it was the Hulks. And number one, I think on most of our lists is Immortal Hulk here. And compared to all the other Hulks, this Hulk was just fantastic. I mean, he was pretty much in par with the Marvel Legends with articulation, uh, but the paint apps, the sculpting, the size was just, um, you know, I would think unanimously better than the Hasbro version, and I think they did equally fantastic job with their Red Hulk. And so I have both of these here to show you guys and how
Oh
incredibly
yeah.
amazing these figures were. And what I want to do is to show you the comparison of the Marvel Legend versions because I have those as well. And so you just can see how much more imposing the
Yeah.
the what do you call these? The Marvel I mean the selects are towards the what do you call these things? The
Legends.
legends are. So you can really
Ed powering down. This has been a long
Oh
day.
yeah, I always warn you guys if it goes late, I am just like spent.
Oh, no.
But yeah, you can see. I just want to show you guys a
Melting
good look
for our
at them.
very eyes. Yeah, yeah. Those are great feet. There you go. Yeah, no, the select one, that Immortal Hulk was just definitely a game changer. It felt like they were going to a whole new era with select, and you saw with Apocalypse, like Larry just showed, the Captain America with the interchangeable torso and everything, the Iceman. I don't think we're gonna get Archangel now. It doesn't look like we're gonna get Annihilus. Feels like we're gonna like those are like Annihilus. I think was such a great, like, looked so good, and that's such an important character to have. The last one they ever did was the Build a Figure back in the Hasbro, the dark days of Hasbro Marvel Legends. So that's a bummer. It's a real big bummer. Not just again of the figure of the people that got let go, but there was like more promise of what was to come with Marvel Select.
Yeah, yeah, real shame. A lot of stuff we're probably not going to get to see. I remember when we were at Toy Fair this year, we saw a lot of really neat things they had in the pipeline. I don't know how many of those are actually ever going to come to light. Even things that I think were already supposed to be shipping and stuff like that never made it to us. So I
Mm-hmm.
doubt we'll see a lot of those things. I don't know if there'll be a dump somewhere and maybe we'll pick them up at Ross at fantastically,
Yeah.
cheap prices, or they'll just, they've never been produced, so we're just never going to see those things. Will just evaporate. But I guess we can always look back to these amazing figures like these Hulks here and several other ones that we've talked about, and I think that people out there, hold in their collections and just enjoy what Marvel Select and DC and just Diamond Select
Diamond.
in
Yeah.
general gave us. So they did some really
Yeah.
cool but figures, statues. They did so many really cool gallery statues.
Lord of the Rings too.
Lord of
Ghostbusters.
the Rings, Ghostbusters. I mean, they covered such a huge variety of figures. I mean, I think I have
Muppets.
like a couple Crow figures I got from
Yeah.
them, but that like there wasn't really any out there, and they did them. Just really fun stuff, and you could always get some pretty unique things from them. And it'll be a shame to see that disappear. So we'll see what happens. Maybe in the future they'll restructure and bring it back in some capacity,
Mm-hmm.
maybe a different name or just something, and we'll still be able to get
Oh,
some of
there you
these
go.
toys. But yeah, there he is.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
forgotten I had this one.
yeah, he's a fantastic one because I always love Crow in general, and you can't really get a lot of Crow merchandise. So it was cool when they put out this figure, and they did a few different versions of him, and so very neat. And there was a lot of neat things that I was hoping we would still be able to get, but uh, it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah, that is what it is. Um, yeah, yeah, but it's a bummer because, man, this Immortal Hulk still, like, not, let's say, like, it still holds up because it's old, but just like it's the best retail Hulk out there still. Like, I know Maximum Hulk has its new features and everything, but this thing just is an incredible figure, and it was hard to find before. It's going to be ridiculously hard to find and
Yeah,
insanely
I've had
expensive
him.
to get now.
I've had him come through a few times at the store, and I mean, he instantly goes. I mean, when someone walks in and they see an Immortal Hulk,
Hmm.
they take it. They know what a great figure it is, and especially in hand when people see it, he's out the door. So
Yeah,
yeah, if you don't have one in your collection, keep an
you're
eye
out of
out.
luck, buddy.
Hopefully, you can scoop one up before they're all gone. But yeah, I mean, look at these figures.
Just
Some
like you mentioned,
amazing
yeah, you mentioned
dioramas.
unique stuff, and just the fact that they did the diorama for Ghostbusters 1, we can build the whole
I mean, look at
actual
that. And the scale of that thing is massive. I don't think people
it's
understand
no
how big. Those are
no.
7-inch figures right there.
Yeah.
So you can imagine the size of that diorama.
It was incredible. Yeah, it took about, I mean, 10 figures to build the whole thing or something, so
Yeah, it was massive. It was
it
really hard to get the whole thing. But
yeah.
man, kudos to anybody who completed it because it is Just really cool.
And they also did the real Ghostbusters, and they also had the front of the firehouse too.
This is one that I always regretted not picking up when I had the chance. I
Same.
always said to myself, "What a mistake! I wish I had these figures." But it is what it is. I'm happy for those who were able to add these to their collection because I mean, stellar figures, especially with these insanely detailed and large diorama pieces. I mean, wow, what an incredible setup to have. If you were
Yeah.
able to get these.
And talk about figures not included,
Definitely not included in my collection.
Well, a bummer. But we still got new stuff and things that we always love. And
Hey,
what better way to talk about them with our segment called New Figure Smell.
Love that new figure smell.
Love you, babe. This week on New Figure Smell, me and Ned, we both got the same thing.
oh, we did get that, didn't we?
Yeah. Come on, buddy. We're almost there. Hey, old soup boy.
Whoa,
Oh, wait.
dun, 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 dun,
Oh, is he got poop?
What
Oh,
happened?
man.
Poop? Oh,
That thing was
no.
falling out. That
It
thing was
must have
falling
been a
out.
wet one.
Yeah. Oh, that was.
Oh,
We're in bathroom.
that wasn't just air.
What?
Whoa!
We're the
That's right.
Super Boys.
We're super boys, guys. We are super boys.
We are super boys.
Are you in on everything from the Death of Superman line from Mafex?
I am, yeah.
Yeah, I have them all, and the only one I don't think I got was and this one came out before I even had them on my radar, was the Black Suit Superman.
Who's up for re-release now, actually.
Who is
Yeah,
up
I got
for release?
that one
So
too.
that will be fantastic. Since if you're like me and missed it the first time around,
I
we'll
was
get
like
another
you.
shot at it.
Yep, I missed it.
And even more exciting, we've seen the production shots of Doomsday, which I think everybody's excited for. I mean,
Yeah.
Mafex Doomsday, yes, please.
Si, senor.
Great ad lib, Larry. Yeah,
I think it was racist.
Doomsday is super important. Go back to the bathroom, Larry. Yeah, Doomsday is absolutely necessary for this line. You can't complete Death of Superman without Doomsday. So the fact that we have all the soups now, we got Superboy, looks really good. Head's a little big. It's a little
That's
bit
what
of a
she said.
noggin. I don't know who said that, but I guess it was she. I guess
No,
it was she.
all the females are asleep by now. We've been
They're
doing this.
all they're not listening to this right now. So yeah, a little bit of a lollipop head, but I think it's okay. I think once you put the jacket on, it sort of
Yeah.
fits. So
Bulks them up a bit.
yeah, I think I'm also gonna do you gotta do the shades. You gotta do the shades.
Gotta
look.
do the shades. Those are 90 shades right there.
Yeah, 'cause I wear my sunglasses at night.
All those period pieces.
Yeah. This July, I believe July 24th or the 26th, Metacom is going to have their yearly exhibition where they're going to show off a lot of new stuff. What is on your most wanted list for Mafex that hasn't been announced yet?
I want to see more X-Men. I want to see Colossus. I want to see the Beast.
Yeah.
I think people would be very excited for some just re-releases. Magneto, Gambit. But new figures, yeah.
Magneto is absolute. Magneto and Brown Suit Wolverine definitely need the re-releases.
Yeah. But yeah, give me a Colossus, an Archangel, a Beast. I would love to see
baby.
more of the X-Men.
Did you get the X-Force Archangel?
The Marvel Legend ones, or
Yeah, Marvel Legends. Yeah,
they're on order, but will not receive them yet.
Interesting. Okay, but that is one that you are interested. Like if that one's good,
I'm getting all the X-Force figures. I have all the original ones, and I'm definitely getting like the 2-pack Warpath and X-23.
Yeah.
I just got the Nightcrawler in a couple weeks ago, and so hopefully the what do you call this guy? The Archangel isn't too far behind. So I just think everything's real slow right now. I don't know if it was tariffs or what's going on, but things are just shipping real slow to us for some reason.
It happens, man. It happens. But you're getting them slowly but surely. They will arrive. When I start doing voices is when you know I'm tired. So that's just a pretty easy tell on my part. I'm just ripping off the plastic on Superboy so I can show
While
him all.
you rip off his plastic, I'm going to show off one more thing that I picked up this week that
Yeah,
I
me
am
too.
very excited about. I almost thought I wasn't going to be able to get this one, but I actually found it on a different distributor list, and I ordered it because I had ordered it originally through Diamond, and they canceled it on me a while ago.
Of
So I
course.
was not happy, but I picked it up on another distribution list, and it came in, and super excited. This is probably my favorite anime series of all time.
Ooh.
Cowboy Bebop, and this is Fig Zero, 1/6 scale Spike.
Oh man,
Look at that.
that is
I
impressive.
mean, can you guys see that?
That's a beaut.
I mean, just look at the amount of accessories he comes with. Super, super cool. I am very excited for this figure. I'm going to do an unboxing of him so you guys can see all the fun stuff he comes with. But super, super happy to have picked that one up. Let's see if Fig Zero continues their Cowboy Bebop and hopefully gives us some more. I would love to get a Jet. I would love to get a Faye. I would go at all of them. Give me Ed. Give me Ein.
Vicious.
Would you want a 112 scale line of Cowboy Bebop, and who would do it?
I
for
do.
you?
I mean, I started buying the figure arts ones that they did, but they showed off, I think, some of the other ones, and they never made them. And we only got Vicious and Spike. And so even when so that was figure arts, and I also got the Play Arts Kai from Square Enix. They did Sid and Vicious. The only company that's ever given me a full line of Cowboy Bebop figures was Funko. I got them in Funko Pop form. And yeah, you know, no other company has completed a nice version of them. So hopefully one of these companies will come through and give me the whole team. I would love to get all the Cowboy Bebop figures.
Yeah, I feel like that's such a requested line. Like that, Akira, obviously, are one that
People are dabbling in those lines. Hopefully, supposedly, like anime stuff is just really hard to get licensing for.
Yeah,
and
that's
I don't
what
know
June
why.
said too. June from Jada Toys just said anime stuff in general is just really hard to get licensing
So
for.
I don't know why that's the way it is, but hopefully they will make some changes and we'll get some more accessibility so toys companies can make some more of these fantastic figures.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. It's like we do this so we can do an outreach to people and be like, hey, like we are the voice of voiceless, you know?
What's that song? Isn't there a song about that? The voice of our generation.
Is it? Or like, isn't it the like I believe the children are our future?
No, that's another song.
Oh, okay.
Well, I think it's getting late, boys, and Mikey's busy doodling. Larry is losing his mind silently.
He really is.
And yeah, I'm about to pass out here. So, I mean, I think we had a really fun show. I think we made up for not having one last week.
We did.
On this one.
We definitely made up for
it. Was fun. It was fun. There was a lot to unpack in this episode. Like Mikey unpacked his Superboy, and we got to see some really cool stuff. Unfortunately, we'd love to give you all guys all the stuff you got to see on here today, but as we've been told, Michael,
by Michael J. Fox himself, figures not included.
Not included, folks.
Sorry, guys. Maybe next time.
Have a good night. Get some rest. Enjoy your day whenever you're watching this. But
morning,
you guys,
night.
Yeah, appreciate you guys hanging with us and talking toys.
Like and subscribe, share. We always appreciate it. You guys have a beautiful, beautiful, wonderful day, night, whatever you do.
Please like us.
Please.